Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is everybody's favorite character, Color Commentary. And I'm hosting tonight because Chris has decided to take a night off to refresh with his family. So you got me tonight. And you also happen to have, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. I appreciate God Soldier earlier for talking about it and allowing me to let him know I'm going to be doing this. But you guys are fortunate enough to be witnessing the premiere of Late Night with Color Commentary. And I probably won't be going on Sunday night. It's probably going to be more every Thursday night after cashing tickets on the Finn's Tailgate. And you can always catch me on the Finn's Tailgate. You can also catch Tonk 7 on TMI Tuesdays at 9. You can catch Mike on the mic. Everybody loves Mike on the mic for open mic and drop the mic on Tuesdays and Saturdays. That would be drop the mic on Saturday, and everybody can come in for open mic on Tuesdays. You also have cash and tickets, Brandon the Bookie, Big Kevin Oz. These guys are great. They've taught me a lot about the world of betting. They'll be on Thursday nights at 10. And, of course, you can catch me right after them. However long their show goes, usually about an hour, and I'll carry you guys for the rest of the evening. I also want to encourage everybody to like and share. Nobody can hear me if you don't share. Nobody can hear Chris, the Finn's Tailgate, all these other guys if we don't share and tell people that we're here. And I really do appreciate you guys coming just to see me. We're probably going to open it up for chat a little later, but I also wanted you to know that you can always find all the apparel you need at fanatics.com. It's the ultimate sports apparel and fan gear store featuring jerseys, t-shirts, hats, collectibles, and merchandise for the fans of all your favorite sports leagues, including soccer and golf. Links in the description below. And that's the last I'll say about it tonight. And I do appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, the biggest news, and I'm sure that everybody's anxious to talk about, is the hiring of Mike McDaniel, the new coach of the Miami Dolphins. Let's all give a round of applause. Give a Y in the chat for Mike McDaniel, whether you want him to be our coach or not. Come on, you guys can't be that bad on him. So what I wanted to do was, first of all, let you know that I'm not pleased about it. I'm sure you guys all know, maybe you've heard what I've thought about it, but at this point, he's our coach. There's nothing we can do about it, and I plan to be 100% supportive. You know, there's nothing else we can do. I want everything to be given to this man to help our team succeed. I don't think that anybody would expect anything less, so whatever, it's done. Let's go coach McDaniels. It's the McDaniels area. He got a 4-year contract, so I'll probably opine about that later on in the open panel because I think I have certain things I'd like to say about that. But what I wanted to do was just say, hey, look, there's a couple things that I really don't like about the guy, or don't think that, not that I don't like the guy. I don't know any of these people personally, so there's no way I can know until I see him more, up front with the media, whatever, post game, pre game, all that stuff that we know we're going to see. He's going to have his own show on local channels here, so which will probably be like a half hour. They always have a coach's show, so he gets to come right up into a big boy's world, and I'm not saying he can't handle it, but we'll definitely see about that. That's probably one of my biggest concerns. Is not, it has nothing to do with age. I think Don Shula was very young when we hired him as our head coach, so I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I know when I was Mike McDaniel's age. Oh, first of all, let's not correct each other. Let's pay attention carefully. And when our friends are using McDaniel's, let's make sure they're not using it in the possessive form before we attack them for saying it wrong. You can't. Okay, so at McDaniel's age, I thought I knew everything, and I mean, it's not to say I didn't have a well-rounded, you know quasi virgining wisdom at that point, but you know that's when somebody's at the peak in their brain. So I'm not worried about his age per se. I don't want anybody to misconstrue a critique as, oh, that he it's because of his age or anything. But there is an experience issue, and I've said from the beginning who my preferences were, even in the first time head coach market, which I wasn't happy with in the first place. I preferred another candidate that was actually kind of at that spot in the head coach world, and could manage all the other things that we know a head coach needs to manage besides just football strategy. So whatever, it is what it is. That's my biggest concern about it. I see a lot of similarities and a lot of signs to other coaches we've hired, and nobody can deny that, and with good reason. I'm not saying it's not with good reason, but nobody can deny that an organization like the Dolphins is going to put so much propaganda into propping up their head coach. They always do it, so that's not a big deal either. But I did want to say one thing good about him too, which I don't know, it came out right away. It's already being reported by the Sun Sentinel, that that Mike McDaniels is going after Vic Fangio. So I kind of like that. I think Vic Fangio is the type of person that probably sees our defense for what it is and wouldn't really, I mean, maybe he'd fine tune it, but I don't really see how he would want to change it much. And the thing about Mike McDaniel that probably has been my biggest criticism for being nothing more than a running game coordinator, now that he's in the building and that's what we have to work with, I mean, it's really not a bad strategy, and I've said it all along that we must use our climate to our advantage because of the heat and humidity in Miami. And if if we can get the right personnel in the backfield, I actually think that running backs have actually, for me, climbed right to the top of what we should be looking, to make sure we upgrade and is stout and sturdy. Because if that's what the guy's gift is, then that's what it is. You can hire passing game coordinators and whatever else. So, I know everybody probably wants to talk about Mike McDaniel, so I'm gonna open up the panel here in a second. But I just wanted to talk about why I'm wearing my shirt tonight, because I didn't want this to be a very long show. I wanted to kind of get my feels. So, you've seen my number one show. Everybody in this chat right now can say that they've seen my number one solo show. So that's cool. If you really like it, please go to my channel too. I'm starting to put out more content. I'm trying to anyway. Things have been really time consuming lately, but, and and by the way, Finn's Tailgate has provided me that gorgeous, logo up in the top screen. And I just want to say, Chris, that I really appreciate that. That is awesome. That's really, really cool. You can see that what I was already working with, hand drawing, which ain't bad. I prefer the old style, but that's the other thing. If Mike McDaniel can get Ross to change back our logo, I'll run through a brick wall for the guy. But so anyway, I just wanted to say one thing about the shirt I'm wearing today. Tonight. Miami Hurricanes, right? And I know I throw it around a lot of times that, we have that, for instance, Duke Johnson or any of the other Hurricanes that we have on our squad. One of my favorite players right now, young players, Jalen Phillips, I think is fantastic. And the first time I saw him running around, sacking Trevor Lawrence all over the field, even though we lost that game, I knew the Miami Dolphins have had to draft him, and he's the first Miami Hurricane that I thought to myself, man, we should draft this guy that we ever did in my life watching this team. So I was really proud that we actually drafted him, and to see him work out the way he has, I really love it. So anyway, the reason I do that so much and believe so much in the Miami Hurricanes and everything they produce is it's not just their football team. The University of Miami just produces champions, people. Let's not deny it. You could look almost on any championship squad of any sport of the major sports and find a Miami Hurricane, probably save for hockey. But that being said, I wanted to tell a quick story to illustrate that. Okay. And then we'll open up the panel to anybody that wants it. Chris will drop the link when he's ready to open it up. Oh, real quick, Chris, throw up that screen. I just wanted you guys to see this is a Sun Sentinel article already about Mike McDaniel looking to pursue Broncos coach Vic Fangio. I just wanted everybody to know that's not something that's just that Omar tweeted. It's an article on the Sun Sentinel. So you can throw that back out, Chris, and then I'll get back on to the Hurricanes. So there's this guy. Maybe y'all that don't follow baseball. I'm not going to get into baseball. I don't want to get that boring. Okay, but I do kind of like baseball since I lived up in St. Louis for like 10 years. I was kind of stuck living up there, and sort of became a Cardinals fan because that's all there is to talk about there. They lost the Rams, and So nobody even talks football on the radio or anything. So I became a Cardinals fan, and I like baseball, but it is boring. I don't expect everybody else to like it. Or hey, good thing if you do, we'll talk baseball one night. But um there was a when I moved to St. Louis, it was right around 2010, and then right after that in 2011 I started following the Cardinals. And the Cardinals this season, that season 2011, was the first time I'd ever followed a baseball team all 162 games through a whole season. So here we go, and they end up winning the World Series. But all through and then they won the World Series then, and then we're in the series. A couple years after that, lost to Boston, all this. But when they won the World Series, there was a couple guys on their squad. One of them was a Miami Hurricane by the name of John Jay, and the other one was the backup catcher to Yadier Molina, a guy named Tony Cruz, and they were both played baseball for the University of Miami. So I found even more reason, as a fish out of water, no pun intended, I guess. I felt really compelled to really root for this team. There's 2 Hurricanes on the squad. I'm like, ugh, okay. So they win the World Series, and John Jay is a 300 plus hitter seasonally. He's actually a very decent hitter and a good outfielder. And he took a lot of heat in the press for some reason. He was always the guy that the fan base was like, oh, he's expendable whenever they're talking trade talks and all this. And he consistently hit 300 every season he was with them, even going to the World Series. Now, the season they won the World Series, I would venture to say if you took John Jay out, if you took any player off that squad that year, because they all had moments where if they didn't do something, the World Series run was over. Okay. So each one of them you could say that for. So if you took John Jay, the Miami Hurricane, out of their squad, of course they wouldn't have won the World Series, but that's fine. Okay. So here's a good hitter, John Jay, Miami Hurricane. And now we're talking about World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals with 2 Hurricanes on their squad. Okay, now follow me. The Cardinals finally, after a couple years after that, did actually trade John Jay to, I believe he went to the San Diego Padres first. And I could be missing a couple teams in between and lengths of the time, but it doesn't really matter. The end result is the same. Okay. So he goes to the San Diego Padres. And that's the type of team that always thinks they're building for a winner, but never do. Never actually get over that hump, whatever it may be. Okay. And so he muddled around there for a couple years, hitting 300 along the way. And then he gets traded to none other than the St. Louis Cardinals' bitter rival, the Chicago Cubs. And the year he got traded to the Chicago Cubs, they proceeded to win their first World Series in 108 years. Those are the champions that the Miami Hurricanes produce. And I'll end with that, and we can open up the panel if anybody wants. If you want to drop the link, open up the panel, talk about it, talk about Mike McDaniel. If everybody's already ready to move on to, what they think can be done, or whatever, what you think. If you're somebody out there, if you're somebody in the chat, I haven't really been paying attention too much except what Chris has been putting up. But if you really hate the fact that Mike McDaniel is our head coach, because I'm not pleased with it either. I mean, I support 100%, but that doesn't mean I'm pleased with it. And I have reasons for that. So if anybody wants to tell me why you hate it, tell me why you think he's a guru. I really don't want those words to be used, because there's no way to debate somebody that thinks somebody's a guru. So, it's such a subjective word, but hey, Come on in. What you doing, Tony? How you doing, man? Tony?
Yeah, honestly, I like the hire, but I'm in a wait and see mode to see how he does, who he hires on his staff. I'm wondering if he's gonna hire a Vangio and have him be his assistant head coach, so he could. That's what happened with
Well,
Flores.
well, you make a great point. That's kind of like the Wade, the Wade Phillips model out
Yeah,
in Los Angeles.
yeah,
That's a great point. I hadn't thought of that.
yeah. And do you think he brings in a young guy, another young offensive coordinator, or do you think he brings in a veteran?
Well, if he does, I think it would come in the form of like I was saying earlier, like a passing game coordinator, or since he's the run
Or
game
Thomas
guru.
Brown, maybe?
Hey, I had a thought. The New England Patriots are interviewing Adam Gase to replace Josh McDaniels as their OC.
Oh, Jesus. How about Bill O'Brien?
Well, whatever. But I'm thinking, if he gets turned down, which he probably will, unless we find out in a shocker that Bill Belichick believes in Adam Gase, hey, he could be a passing game coordinator.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, please.
No, seriously, I don't. Maybe this would be a point. Wouldn't think that'd be a bad idea, but I don't think that's possible.
Or how about
Bleezy?
Yo,
Sorry, Tony.
What's up?
Hey,
Bleezy.
What's up,
Good
bro?
to see you. Glad you actually came up, man. And I really want to welcome you to the Finn's Tailgate
Thank you, bro.
late night color commentary. And I really
appreciate
appreciate you coming up, man. What do you got to say about Mike McDaniel?
Hey, we got a new coach. Right? We got a new coach, man. I've been saying the whole time, I said, I don't know who we're going to hire, and I really don't care, but I would like to have a coach with some swagger, with some personality. You know what I'm saying? And I think we just got that. Can the guy coach? I don't know.
Yes,
well, it's evident that he can instruct. I think he can definitely instruct. Can he will men to do? Not that they do that anymore, but you still have to figuratively want to be able to run through a wall for this guy. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I know. But Culler, don't you agree that the last 3 coaches have had no personality, man? I think because if you see my avatar, I'm an Ole Miss fan, and ever since we brought in Lane Kiffin, we're popping off, man. Because the guy's got swagger.
Well, it does give an opportunity for somebody like Vic Fangio to provide that air of discipline in the locker room, and then now you have a situation where, the players have a problem with the way Vic's attitude is. They got their head coach that's going, hey, no, I'm with you guys. Let's go out and, blow off some steam. Forget old Vic. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of an interesting dynamic. Hey, Cap, what do you got to say, man? What do you think about Mike, man? I know I think you've been kind of, fine with anything with it. We roll if we go with a first timer. What do you think about Mike?
Yeah, man. I just thanks for having me on the show, man. Nice to see you guys up here, man.
Pleasure. It's color commentary because I get to have the floor whenever I want. It is my show tonight, but it is absolutely courteously hosted by our friends at the Finn's Tailgate, and I really appreciate Chris for working in the background for me to do that and giving me the opportunity and the platform to do that. But that being said, that's really the only difference. Chris and I are very similar. Hey, everybody wants to, short of, real world infractions of the law, I don't, what I mean? Whatever. So it's still late night color commentary, Finn's Tailgate, you know what I mean? Tailgate that never stops, man. So what do you got to say, Cap?
Yeah, man. Capitan's working overtime. I love it, man. It's something that we need right now.
He
I mean, I don't want to.
He may come in a little later. We might, there might be another guy we all like to see every now and then come in, and Chris is probably going to come in a little later. He just wanted me to kind of get my footing and, you know what I mean, let you guys come up and talk about what I want you to talk about. You know what I mean? Sort of.
I'm laughing because in parentheses it says Mike McD's prodigal son. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, that's me groveling back at Mike McDaniel's door. Like, you're our coach now, dude. I love you, buddy. You know what I mean? Don't throw games because I hate you. So what do you got to say, Cap? Sorry.
No, man, it's just it's. I don't want to say it's a unified front right now because a lot of people are suspect, as rightfully so. But yeah, man, it's he's our coach right now, and we got to figure out what we need to do to help him succeed right now. And it's it's a situation where we're questioning the quarterback position, and now we're questioning the coaching position. And it's growing pains right now, man. For somebody to say we're going to end up being like Sean McVay, in 1 year, I'll believe it when I see it. But to each their own, man.
It's
right
kind of
now,
like we're at that point with it with kind of any coach we would have gone with, even a seasoned one. But as well as I do that, I mean, people forget when we say that Don Shula was a retread. We don't just say. See, most people are like, I don't want that retread, and we're talking about a guy that's already won a championship or been close. You know what I mean? When it comes to Don Shula, that's even double fold because Don Shula wasn't successful in Baltimore. Not to the extent he was in Miami. I mean, he was only there for 3 years in Baltimore?
Give or take before they left, yeah.
Right. So it's not like we're talking about a Super Bowl champion per se. So we're talking about a retread that didn't even have good results coming to the table. So, anybody can fail, anybody can succeed, and I think that's where we're at. But I think it's like, man,
coaching all about luck.
So in other words, I'm starting from such a low point of expectation that, you know what I mean, getting here ain't gonna take very much.
Yeah, I haven't heard Bleezy in a minute, man. Bleezy, what do you think, man?
Yo, hey, man, hey, I think we kind of ran out of candidates, I think this is kind of what it came down to, but like I said, man, I like the hire, man. I'm rolling with it. The guy's got personality, dude. We haven't had personality. And, Brian Flores and Adam Gase's press conference were fucking brutal to watch, man. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. I mean, I couldn't even watch them, man. And so I'm looking for a coach with some swagger, and I think we just got that. Can the guy coach? Can he be a leader of men? But we're about to find out. Can he build? Can he build a staff? That's what I think. That's what a lot of the Dolphins fans are really looking at. Who's he about to bring in? I mean, what do you guys think? Are we going to keep some of the coaches we have right now?
I think.
And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt, Bleezy. God's soldier, thanks for correcting the record right there. But there again, people have said a retread ain't no good for winning Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Like Doug Peterson. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I appreciate the correction, though. Yeah, Don Shula did take the Colts to the Super Bowl and lost to the Jets. Isn't that the famous Broadway Joe game?
Yeah, where he predicted he was going to beat the Colts. Yeah.
So go ahead, Bleezy. If you had anything else to add. Do you have anything else to add, Tony?
Yeah. No, honestly, I can't. I understand you don't want him anywhere near here. But honestly, I would be okay with bringing Cliff Kingsbury as the OC with Mike McDaniel. He can be the path. His offenses are pretty innovative. I know he did pretty well.
Yeah, but I mean, Arizona ain't parting ways with Cliff Kingsbury, are they?
They fired him.
Oh, did they? Did I miss that?
Yeah, they fired him.
Arizona fired Cliff Kingsbury?
When?
Yes. Yeah, they did.
Didn't they just make the playoffs?
Yeah. They
Did what?
fired him.
No.
fired-
When? Where do you got it? Where do you got that at?
They fired him as soon as they got eliminated from the playoffs.
I'm looking right now, man. I don't know about that.
Culler's about to check that.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure the Cardinals fired him because they have a head coaching opening.
I don't see no news article about it.
Go to the Cardinals Bleacher Report.
No, I don't think so, man. Looks like he's still their coach to me. Everything. I mean, I'd have to go to like 5 pages in on Google. No,
They just made the
it says
playoffs.
Arizona Cardinals. We know Wikipedia doesn't let changes. We just proved that Wikipedia doesn't let false changes stand. So it still says he's the head coach of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I might have. Maybe I read too much into the article. I thought it said he
I think they were trying. I think some fans were calling for his head, but no, he's not going anywhere.
Right. Okay, so fair enough, Mark. You're making my point. So a retread would have been better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That I didn't know. That's what I didn't realize. I didn't know the Dolphins gave up.
And to your point, Mark, and I appreciate also continuing the fact check in there. How long did it take Shula when he took him what? He actually had a couple good records to start off with, if I remember correctly. Before the 72 great season. So yeah, he came in blazing right off the bat. Does anybody here expect Mike McDaniels to exceed Brian Flores in, let's say, terms of producing more wins?
Yes.
Yeah, if he brings a veteran staff with him to teach him how to coach throughout the season and not make mistakes and stuff like
Because
that.
that's honestly what I don't believe. Like I'm just gonna say it. It's the same with Tua. I'm not a believer. I don't
It
have
depends
faith
on what.
in, you know what I mean?
Kohler, I think it depends on what he does with the defensive side of the ball. That's right.
You guys expect 11 wins this season?
No.
Yeah. Hell
No.
yeah.
No, not really.
I do.
Ugh. Well, the first year,
I mean,
that's a little bit too.
we haven't lost anybody, right?
I mean, that's
And we
the
just
benefit of having
we just spent the last 4 weeks blaming all our problems for the last season on our last head coach. So, given that we went 9-8, and we add 2 wins to that, that'd be 11 wins, right?
We got
Johnny,
what?
Happen.
We still got the youngest staff in the NFL. I think the second youngest staff the past 2-3 seasons so far. So I mean, the time's ticking, man. I mean, a lot of these guys might leave after next season, so we got to take advantage this year.
I think honestly,
a lot of guys are going to walk.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I think the guys, the 2 guys he probably keeps are, if you bring them Fangio, I think he would be willing to keep Boyer as maybe a DB's coach or a guy like Gerald Alexander as position coaches.
I guess the question in the room is, does he keep Tua?
He stood up. I said this 2 nights ago. When he did the interview, his first interview, he said, he actually said, you watch the tape of Tua, and he says, I want to move on. He actually said he wants to move on from Tua.
Wow,
he stood
really?
up to Chris Greer. Yeah.
You think he'd actually do that, Cap? You think he'd actually trade Tua before training camp's over?
We'll find out by March, man. With all this stuff going on in Houston, as much as people don't want to hear it, we'll find out by March, what's really going on. And unfortunately, right now, it's a waiting game, man. And at this point right now, man, we need an O-line.
I can go hard. I mean, I can go hard on the guy if we spent. I mean, I'd be rather talking about Flores if Mike McDaniels is such a boring guy. You know what I mean? We can talk about anybody.
No, the thing is, if we're going to talk about Watson, people aren't going to want to hear it, even though the fact remains if Tony's saying what he's saying is, holding some type of weight towards it, which, Anthony's usually on point with his commentary and his analysis. I mean, a lot of people don't want to hear it, but it comes true after the fact. But if that's true, we just got to keep our ears open till March, because unfortunately that's when all of hell's going to break loose, when March dictates whether this man is innocent or guilty. You know what I mean? So, it's a slippery slope right now, man. But like I said, Tua time's ticking, man, and he needs to make it work, because if not, it's unfortunately things are going to change whether we like it or not.
I mean, Bleez, you got something to say?
No, I mean, I'm with you guys, man. I guess really at this point we don't know what's going to happen.
Do we lose any draft picks because of I mean, are those all still safe because all that ain't going to happen too soon, or where are we at?
Yeah, a lot of people want to say, if we move on from Tua this year, we'll have 2 first-round picks next year. What makes you think the NFL ain't going to take that away from us with all the BS we've been dealing with? You know what I mean? Like, it is possible.
I read someone Cap, if more teams are involved in this gambling thing, they're not going to take draft picks. So if it's multiple teams, they're not going to take away they can't take away the Dolphins' pick to every team. That's if there's more involved in this scandal than just the Dolphins, they can't just take the drafts away from the Dolphins.
Yeah, Anthony. You gotta find out a little bit more from me about what happened with that situation with McDaniels, if he did say that to Greer, because that's kind of heavy.
I think the Dolphins or I think McDaniel is going to roll with Tua, is what I think. That's
what do you think will happen to his support in the locker room if he doesn't, or in, let's say, the fan base if he doesn't? What happens to
if he does not? Right. If he does not, I think the majority of the fans will roll with it. They'll be fine with it. Depending on
So Bleezy, you think that most of the fan base, even guys like me, obviously, if I personally am already out on Tua, and I mean, Donald Duck could tell me that he's out on Tua. It could be our head coach, and I'd agree with him. But I'm talking about the really, really not the Tuaneers that would follow him to another team. Not those, if they even exist. I'm not claiming they do. I'm just saying, those people wouldn't care. But what about the people that are really close to that but are still Dolphin fans at heart? And are they willing to trust now Mike McDaniel? Do they end up throwing him under the bus and backpedaling, because we know it's most of the same people that pushed for him in the first place? You know what I mean?
Hey, it depends on. I guess it depends on. Everybody has their own evaluation, right? It depends on what you've seen with your own eyes.
Right, because here's the thing. We had everybody singing Kumbaya when Harbaugh was on the table. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Tuaneers and everybody alike. Look at that, Mickey. How you doing? Mickey Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. Mickey Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. You believe it?
Who did I say was going to be the coach? I'm waiting. Who? What did I say?
McDaniels. You said McDaniels.
Oh, okay. Now, Tony, I'm going to correct you on 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many things. First of all, Tony, I love you, bro. He did not say he did not want to work with Tua. He actually said he can win with Tua. He's not getting off of Tua. So everybody leave Tua alone. Let Tua go work out in Hawaii. Have sex with 14 strippers and leave the guy alone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He did not say that. He said he can win with Tua, and that was in his first interview. He said, I can win with Tua. I'm going to design an offense that I get the ball out quickly, I make it rhythm, and when we have to, we take our shots. It had nothing to do with getting rid of Tua.
Hey,
okay?
but that first interview was debunked. He was never down here. He came down here a couple days after that.
Let me call you. First of all, let me clarify. The report wasn't bullshit. You guys are not understanding what was done. That interview was not an interview done in person. The interview that they first had where he said this was a via Zoom interview.
But that guy who broke it retracted his statement.
No, he retracted that they thought it was the second interview. The interview happened via Zoom. Everything he said about Tua was true, but it was via Zoom. What was falsified was they were thinking, Big O thought when he put that out there that was the second interview. Big O made the mistake, not the guy. The guy went on Big O show and said, listen, that was the interview he did via Zoom. I should have been more specific, but no, he's coming in on Friday. So no, the interview happened. It wasn't bullshit. He just didn't do that first interview in Miami. It was via Zoom. And then he came in Thursday, Friday, put the cards on the table, blew him away, and now he's here. Done deal.
Okay, what's the other thing you want me to correct? What was the other thing?
Big John Stud, ladies and gentlemen. Big John Stud.
What was the other thing you wanted to correct?
You might disagree with him, but you can't argue with him.
You said you wanted to correct.
I was being sarcastic. I was being Cuban. It was only one thing, but Cubans tell you we'll be there in 30 minutes and we take 3 hours.
An hour, yeah.
So I understand. I'm Cuban too, so no, because there. He said the reason why I said that is there was other reports saying that he actually stood up to them saying that he watched his tape and said there was too many mistakes he couldn't fix.
That was probably made by some people in the community who are dying to get rid of Tua just so they can make a bonfire and say they were correct. He got on, he said, I saw tape of Tua and I can win with Tua. I'm going to design an offense for Tua. I'm going to give Tua a running game. Everything Tua needs, he's going to get. As far as him needing an offensive and defensive staff, we know he's bringing in Wes Welker to be the receivers coach. We know he's chasing right now Nick Banger as a defensive coordinator. He's probably going to keep Boyer as either a coach on the team or an assistant. If not, he's going to let him go. The guy knows what he's doing. He's going to let go of probably Leo Meichenberg's gone because the guy can't move in his own blocking scheme. Believe it or not, he's going to keep Austin Jackson because Austin Jackson is actually the fastest offensive lineman we got that can actually pull. So maybe he can fix him. If not, he'll get rid of him. But no, he's not getting rid of Tua. The offense is going to be built around Tua and the running game. He's going to fix the offensive line. There's a very good chance he's going to get Jesse Armstead down here now that he is here. So we can pretty much pencil in Jesse Armstead coming down here. So you guys don't have to worry.
So what if he brings Jimmy G?
Yeah, what about Big John? What about the report? What about the reports that came out a few days ago about the Dolphins talking to 49ers about Jimmy G?
I don't think they're going to bring down Jimmy G just because of the fact that even though they're compensatory, the Dolphins had to give up 2 third-round compensatory picks to the 49ers to bring in Mike McDaniel. So we already gave up draft capital, whether it was ours or not always ours, for him. I don't think we're going to give up more draft capital for a backup quarterback. If they bring him in, great, we'll have competition. That's what football is, right? Competition, the best player plays. I don't have an issue with that.
So we got the excellent host of the Fins Tailgate who's allowing me to have my show late night color commentary. John, he's saying he heard, as in, I don't know if that's spelled a certain way on purpose, if you know what I mean. Mike McDaniel hates Tua, LOL.
He can say whatever he wants. He also told me that he thought that Mike McDaniel was another Adam Gase, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's like comparing college to fucking third grade football. Okay.
Well, what about the fact that Bill Belichick is willing to interview Adam Gase to replace Josh McDaniels as their OC?
That's fantastic. That means Bill Belichick's going to be running the offense and the defense. That's what that means.
Oh, come on.
That means more sleepless nights for Bill.
You know as well as I do that Adam Gase specifically designed a specialized RPO for Tim Tebow to succeed and put them on that playoff run.
That's fantastic, but he hasn't done it in a while. The only picture we have of him is
He just suffered from not being a good head coach, like everybody else that's run through Miami.
Well, then he doesn't have to worry then because he's not going to be a head coach there ever. So everything works out.
BJ,
what do you think about bringing him in as a passing game coordinator for McDaniel?
No. There was a conversation. I don't know if it was a report or a comment. There's a possibility. Don't quote me on this. There's a possibility that he could even bring in Pep Hamilton as offensive coordinator, which would be fantastic.
Well, I don't mind that. I don't mind that necessarily.
How about Bill O'Brien?
They were. I just said that, EM. They're not our direct picks. They were compensatory. I said that, EM. I know they weren't ours directly.
Hey, so do we get 11 wins?
Of course we do.
Yeah, we will, Cap. We got that.
Let's not go that far, please.
I seem to recall Stephen Ross when he introduced Adam Gase as our head coach a couple years back. I remember him saying it was all about winning Super Bowls.
That's
Super
right.
Bowls. Yep.
Well, Culler, you have to win.
When he fired him, when he fired him, he said he wanted to win now.
Okay, first of all, you have to win to get to the playoffs to make the Super Bowl. So you can't make the Super Bowl when you're not in the dance. So let's start off.
No, I'm just saying, John. Let's be honest. Even you agreed, but even you agreed that a seasoned head coach would have been a better choice.
No, because I view McDaniel as a seasoned head coach, unlike you guys. Because when you've been in the league for 16 years and you've been around all these coaches, including Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Dan Quinn, and the list goes on, and you've been around them, trust me, you've been seasoned.
Sparano was around Parcells. Gase was around Belichick. Same
That's
thing.
fine, but
you know what I mean? Like,
I like Sparano, so it's.
I did too until he started clapping for field goals.
And we gave up on him too quick.
That wasn't me. I didn't give up on him. Ross gave up on him.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my question to you, John. Can you trust Stephen Ross not to be flaky with this coach and not like?
In my opinion, this hire.
To be fair to the late great Tony Sparano, that was the last time the Miami Dolphins won our division.
Him and Lee made the Wildcat.
In my estimation, the difference is that to me, this hire had nothing to do with Stephen Ross. He barely even spoke. The person who wanted McDaniel in Miami from last year, and he was chasing him until the 49ers blocked it. Okay, because he's been coaching for like 16 years, and 14 of those years he's been coaching with Kyle Shanahan or the other Shanahan. So they wanted him in the system.
But you can see where Cap's coming from when Capitan's coming from when he says, he said all the same thing about Adam Gase. I mean,
that's great, but I'm not listening to what the media is saying about Adam Gase. I'm listening to what players who played for this man are vouching for him. I don't care about the media. I only care about the people who are in the trenches playing for this man who have to say something about him. I don't care about the media.
I mean, I don't remember specifics, but I'm sure that they had people vouching for Adam Gase.
Listen, Adam Gase never reinvented an offense that he had already invented. Okay, so I don't want to hear it.
Well,
every quarterback, every coach that we're talking about was connected to a Hall of Fame quarterback or an elite quarterback to get their clout.
Right.
This man has done it. This man has done it with middle of the pack quarterbacks. Has never had an elite quarterback, and it's still.
But when and who though?
Who? What? Say it again.
Like who are these quarterbacks you're talking about?
Who did? We're talking about Adam Gase.
I'm talking about Mike McDaniel.
That's my point. Mike McDaniel doesn't need an elite quarterback to make it work. Yeah, Jimmy G.
Oh, okay. So you would be fine with Jimmy G over here then?
I don't have a problem. I just said competition. I don't care.
Okay. That's fair enough.
John.
To me, anyway.
Question for you.
I mean, regardless of the fact, we still need a backup. Regardless of the fact, we still need.
Yes, but you're not gonna. But you're not gonna pay $7 to $8 to $10 million for a backup quarterback. So you're probably better off getting. Look, I would be fine with Teddy Bridgewater.
When it's all said and done, we got $70 million to play with. Why not?
Because you're going to spend that on what you need the most, which isn't a backup quarterback. You need an offensive line.
Or maybe
We already proved that. We already proved this year that they didn't throw money at the offensive line. We threw money at the backup quarterback, and he got sacked more than Tua, and he played less games. So that doesn't make a difference. Jacoby Brissett got sacked 19 times. Tua got sacked 13 or 14 times, and Tua played almost every game, and Jacoby played 4. So if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have shit. Especially if you want to run the ball, and that's what he's going to bring back to the Dolphins.
O-line is a must. I agree with.
We haven't had a real running game.
So does that mean Chris Greer is going to shove players down his throat? I mean, how do we know has he been on I don't think he's been on any scouting departments.
Chris Greer is going to stay the fuck out of there. He hired the guy he wanted. McDaniel is going to do his business.
So now what if McDaniel pulls in a bunch of people here, a bunch of offensive linemen, and they're just as bad?
Then we can blame McDaniel for being a piece of shit the same way we would blame Deshaun Watson if he came in and nothing worked because it wasn't him and the offensive line sucked, and we're going to blame him either way.
And I think that's the question. I think that's the question I was asking Bleezy earlier is like, do the guys like you that aren't over here from Alabama, do guys like you jump the ship on Mike McDaniel quicker than you do Tua?
I'm not going to jump on ship on anybody until we see what the hell they do.
Yeah,
I'm only going to jump ship when I see that you're a total failure, but I don't see that happening.
We need to go top shelf on
so
our.
You think at least 2 or 3 more wins then? We should
Holy
expect.
Crap. We need to go top shelf on our offensive free agent linemen. We need a left tackle and we need a right tackle.
Look, there's a good possibility they're going to switch Dieter to guard. We might go after Jensen. Okay, you get Jensen, you put him at center. There's a good possibility they're going to go after Armstead. So you're going to fortify 2 parts of the offensive line already that are having an issue. What they do with the rest of the offensive line, I don't know. I don't see Jesse Davis being here. Pray to God he gets hit by a truck, and I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart.
Damn.
You know, Eichenberg's not going to be here. He's not fast enough. He can't play guard. He doesn't have an anchor. So he's probably gone. That was a wasted draft pick. But at the end of the day, you're better off getting rid of people when you know they're not going to do it, or you change the scheme. Like if right now, they would have brought in McDaniel, and he would have said, I don't want Tua, nobody can say nothing. He just got here. He has the right to pick who he wants. Same thing with the offensive line. I never said Tua had to be the quarterback. I never said, unlike every Alabama fan who lives and breathes, Crimson Tide, that Tua is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I said Tua was the greatest college quarterback in the history of college quarterbacks in the last 100 years, and I have stats to back that up, period. That's got nothing to do with the way I feel or don't feel. I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm not a Tua. I love Tua Tagovailoa. He's the only reason why I actually want to watch football nowadays outside of Dan Marino. No other quarterback made me excited to watch football. So it is what it is.
Hey, have you heard anything about the Calvin Ridley front? Have you heard anything?
There's a good possibility that we're going to trade for Calvin Ridley. But if we trade for Calvin Ridley, there may be a good possibility, even though he's not a big cap hit, that they might get rid of Devontae Parker or they get rid of Preston Williams. One of the two is not going to be here. I could even say both, but that's just me. Because remember, people forget. Here's the reason why. I'm sorry, Tony. The reason why I say both, because people forget that we have a dynamic receiver who didn't play the entire season. Even though I think Kurt Merritt is an amazing receiver, we didn't see Lynn Bowden play all year. Lynn Bowden's coming back. Lynn Bowden could be the one who plays the Deebo Samuel role in his offense because he is just like him, jack of all trades. So I'm just saying, people don't realize we already have another receiver in the room besides Waddle who's good. So what they do in the offensive front, I'm gonna wait and see. Now here's the thing. My main question is, what are you gonna do with Gesicki? Because as much as I like Mike Gesicki, we know the Dolphins are not gonna tender him as a wide receiver. They're not gonna give him a franchise tag as a wide receiver. He wishes it's not gonna happen. He's a tight end, but in his offense, everybody blocks.
Yeah, I said this, John, earlier when I got on. he's going to be asking for wide receiver money. He's not asking for elite tight end money. He's going to ask for 24 to 25 million as a receiver.
He's not, and they're not gonna give him the tag. The NFL is not gonna allow him to be a wide receiver. They're just like they didn't allow Jimmy Graham to be a wide receiver because Jimmy Graham was a 30 times better at his role, playing the wide receiver role in the New Orleans Saints offense than Mike Gesicki would ever hope to be in the Dolphins offense, and he couldn't get them to transfer him over as a wide receiver. So I don't see that happening. He can ask for 20 mil all he wants. If he gets 20 mil, he's going to get it from somebody like the Texans. But we're not going to spend 20 mil to bring him back Mike Gesicki. There's no way.
Yeah. And what is your opinion on Fangio? Do you actually like that? Is he going to change our defense?
No, absolutely. That's the reason why I like him. He's not going to change the defense. He's going to run it basically the way we
What's up, guys?
Oh,
I don't know what happened to Culler.
Oh,
I don't know what happened to Culler.
What's up, El Cap?
What's going on? Bleezy, thanks for hopping in. Oh, look, here comes Culler. I got you, Culler. I got you, brother.
Sorry, guys.
No
Blocking
problem.
up for a second.
Yeah, it happens.
Apparently, Alvin Kamara just got arrested. It's reported directly from NFL.com that he got arrested after the Pro Bowl.
Alvin Kamara?
Yeah, Kamara got arrested after the Pro Bowl.
Wow.
So Chris, man, you know, I thought you were gonna jump in all over Big John on that, man. I thought you'd be flaming in the
I've been
background.
waiting, dude.
Where,
First
you
of
know,
all, I put
you gotta
that in the
get.
link.
I mean,
it was so.
what
funny.
am I supposed to say to what he's saying, man? You know what I mean? This is ridiculous nonsense he keeps spewing up here.
Nah, man, it's I was dying, man. I was dying in the background.
Ridiculous nonsense, but everything I'm saying is coming true, so I'm good at making nonsense.
Listen.
First of all, okay, I've kept quiet for. I think people are probably thinking I'm shy because it's my first show, right? But I've been keeping quiet, listening to all this nonsense, right? First of all, to whoever said it in chat, what happens if Mike McDaniel a week from now goes to Greer and says, I've watched enough film. I can't work with this guy.
Oh my God, I was.
You think he's going to fire Mike McDaniel if he says, no, I refuse to work with Tua after week one of just looking at his film, being in the building?
Let me ask you, what did I just say?
I'm not saying Mike McDaniel would do that. I'm just saying.
But what did I say? I said if he wants to get rid of him, he just got here.
Well,
I trust you. Well, but see, to me, I'm the only one that matters. I don't care what everybody else says.
Well, I know. I'm just addressing this nonsense in the chat. You know what I mean?
You know what the problem is? The wonderful thing about me is that I turn off. I close the chat to his video. I don't mute it. I don't read the comments.
Yeah, I got you, but that's what I'm here for, John, to kind of transcend it for you, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what they're saying in chat.
There are people. Look, Brooklyn Rob, who goes on Dono's show, 1 minute said, "Big John, speak facts. I love you." The next minute, he said, "Big John was talking some good shit." So 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they hate you. I don't care. I love Brooklyn Rob regardless. I've had Cap tell me that that Tua sucks, and I still talk to Cap. He comes to my house. We don't agree. I'll tell you one thing, Cap can play pool and everybody can hear crickets because he don't talk.
Well, Big John, I also was a little bit of silent because I actually do have to give credit where it's due. But before I do, I'm going to remind everybody to like and share what you're watching right now. Go to my channel, subscribe to Chris's channel.
Yeah.
Fin's Tailgate, El Capitan.
Yeah.
Follow all these guys on Twitter.
It's gonna be a long off season, guys. And
on I think you can also find a couple more other great shows on this channel throughout the week.
Yeah, you can, guys. Sorry about that.
Hey,
Culler. Hold on.
do you guys know? Hey, you guys don't
One
know
of them is Tonk 7
Cat?
at TMI Tuesdays at 9 p.m. He brings like a different perspective on certain sports.
Mike on the
also
mic.
a Hurricanes fan, but you got Mike on the mic. Open mic is on Tuesdays, and Drop the Mic is on at 10 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then you got the guys, Brandon the Bookie, Big Kevin Oz doing cash-in tickets on Thursdays at 10. And soon you will have me
Culler
taking the reins after cash-in tickets on Thursday nights.
Nice,
So,
Culler. Way
see if
to ease it in there. What were you gonna say, Big John? What were you gonna say?
See if you can get Eom on here. His brother's a Niners fan, and they were not too happy we took Mike McDaniel from them.
Oh, really? EM usually it's late at night. EM don't usually.
No, he was just on Reason Show. He was just on, bro.
Well, John, now what you got to do is you need to go on all the Niners fans sites late at night tonight and find out watching popping champagne bottles and shit.
These watching popping
Like we don't like
these suckers.
like 2 and on ain't looking, like 2 and on ain't watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was funny. Fucking Culler with the fucking side swipe. Then kicked your
See a
legs
bunch
out
of
from
champagne emojis everywhere and all the tweets. You know,
underneath.
follow me, pop, fizz. He's gone.
No, Jesus Christ.
No, but that being said, I was just about to give credit where it's due. First of all, to Mickey Harrison, Dolphins 2021 there. And maybe that'll come true too. You know what I mean? Yeah, you hit it. You were right. You know, and I will feed into your point though that the offensive line, we can build it. I mean, that's a given to me. We build it up as strong as we can be because I keep hammering the point that we should be utilizing our climate to our advantage, and a big pounding running game that's being designed by a guy that's obviously a good enough running game designer that had earned him the head coach of the Miami freaking Dolphins. You know what I mean? So maybe that's Ross's standards, maybe not. But the point is, we need to get a bruiser. We need to get a few, keep maybe the ones we got, and we just need to pound the rock down people's throats in Miami because that plays up north too, and in the playoffs.
But the problem with that Color is
Jimmy G can manage that.
The big offensive linemen, I don't think can handle the heat down here. That's the problem. If you get guys that are like,
who was that saying that? Tony?
Yeah.
And that's exactly, but see, that's the point. If you got a guy like Jimmy G, you're not necessarily having to run so heavy that type of offense. Although the style that Mike McDaniel runs, I mean, these zone runs and all that, there is a lot of counter trapping in it, and yes, there is a lot of pulling and stuff like that's why John made the great point about, keeping Austin Jackson because of his agility. Now that kind of offense can be deadly. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean that's what Buffalo ran against us for 4 years going to the Super Bowl with Thurman Thomas was that counter trap offense, man. And it's really, it can be deadly. But I mean, the guy still hasn't had the reins of like what happens when his star player that's coming up to, play the next week comes and says, hey, I've got these family issues. You know what I mean? How does he handle that stuff? You know what I mean? That's the stuff that ends up distracting a new guy like that into not being able to implement his genius, given that it exists. You know what I mean?
The veteran.
Oh,
the veteran.
Ennis, we got Ennis in that. I mean, you were staying so silent. I really, I didn't even see the avatar pop in, but I appreciate you coming in, buddy. How you doing tonight? I'm pretty sure you're popping champagne bottles, right?
I just got off work.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Ennis?
What's up
I mean,
with it?
figuratively speaking, Ennis,
What's up with it?
Like, are you happy with the hire?
Is that a stranger's voice? Is that a stranger's voice out here?
No, this is.
What's up, Ennis?
You talking about Bleezy?
Ennis knows about me. Ennis,
you talking about Bleezy?
Yeah.
I thought that was somebody else. I thought it was EM. What up, Bleezy?
I was just gonna say,
CM's just spamming the chat. You know how he is.
He might pop in if you drop the link for him real quick. But I thought Bleezy and EM.
Chris is in the back. Chris, you want to drop the link in case it's been gone for too long?
I think that Bleezy and EM sound identical. I was just gonna say that before.
Really?
Yeah, you guys sound alike, man.
Hey, I'll take that as a compliment. Man. I've heard EM on here, man. It's mad knowledge. I got nothing but respect for him, man. Straight up.
Fins up, man. How y'all guys
How
doing?
you doing, Sharif? Welcome back. Appreciate you coming in tonight. You got anything positive, negative, neutral to say about our coach?
Hey, Sharif.
Sharif.
man.
Hey, Sharif. Did your
Hey.
mom
What's
name
up,
him
Sharif?
after? Hey, did Sharif's mom name him after Sharif Abdul Rahim? Because I don't know
No,
many Sharif.
she actually named me after Omar Sharif West. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
the movie star
Yeah.
Omar Sharif.
right.
So
So Sharif, we got Bleezy Cap for life. The great Mickey Harrison's Dolphins. That'd be Big John Stud and Innis on mute. Innis seems kind of like maybe he's kind of distracted a little bit, but he's still listening and
What's
responding.
up,
So what do
Sharif?
you got to say, man?
And
I
this ain't
noticed
high enough.
like some innovative things are going to change with the offense. Immediately, Tua will be under center, seeing that it's a West Coast. We will have either a fullback or Christian Wilkins or a tackle being a fullback in that position, or we'll get a traditional fullback. I wonder how you guys feel about that. That's strictly West Coast I formation, power I. And then another thing, I do not want the Tomlinson guard from San Francisco. I would rather get Johnson from Tampa Bay, and I don't think he's going to move from a Super Bowl contention team, meaning we'll probably have to draft a center.
Well, Sharif, real quick, remember, Tom Brady's gone, bro. All those free agents that were staying for Teflon Tom ain't there, bro. Just saying.
That's a good point.
Yep.
So I think we may have a shot, but I would say Tariq Armstead. I don't want the kid from New England. I would get Armstead because he's a veteran, and the kid from New England may just want money. And
Sharif, when you just mentioned fullback, man, I woke up, man. We ran the ball at our best with a great fullback. We need to have some type of situation where we get in that eye. They fear us now, man. And utilizing a fullback sounds so minute, but it's so big, man. We need to try to establish the old ways of running the ball, and that's one of the
thing
old ways
about
to
it
have a
is,
good
right?
fullback.
That you know what, and that's also a solution that you can use if you can't get a big bruising running back. You can utilize a fullback for the same purpose. I mean, look, we got to use that heat, man. It's hot down there, man, and I'm telling you, if we pound the rock, which we haven't done in a long time, like we used to pound the rock.
And guys, think about this. Do you remember the Durham Smythe little fade routes, 3 yards?
Oh, the flat.
Right. These routes can now be the fullback, right? They don't necessarily have to be Smythe second option. They can be a fullback who's going to be wide freaking open if they don't protect that option that Tua is going to have. So
and you can also seal off the spy blitz easier too.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't we put Jalen Phillips at fullback, man? I'd love to see him run with the ball.
Right. He's a little long for it.
I also think that if Tua is going to pass 25 times a game, that means we're probably going to run 30 times or reverse or do some trickery, which tells me that it's going to depend on Tua changing a lot of plays. And he's going to need to use that 24-second clock before he snaps very, very much more than he used to.
Well, let's look at it this way. You're going to learn a lot about Tua. Either Tua is the man or Tua isn't, because that offense is not easy to learn. So either Tua is going to show you he's the man or he's not. We're going to get a very good reading on Tua Tagovailoa is by the end of the season next year.
So welcome to the panel, everybody. Kahari P, how you doing tonight, Kahari?
Oh shit!
I see you on mute. You ready to go at it? What do you think about it? What do you think about McDaniel?
It's my arch nemesis.
Man, come on, man. You give me too much respect.
I'm just fucking with you, man. What's up, man?
Hey, man.
Hey, how you pronounce it? Kahari? Kari?
No, just Kari. Kari. Yeah, me and Sharif were born in the same hospital right there in Nassau, Bahamas. Now, seriously, that's actually I don't know. Sharif, are you from Nassau?
I'm from Grand Bahama, Rand Memorial.
Oh, okay. I was born in, I think, what's the one in Nassau called? Princess
Margaret Hospital.
Margaret Hospital. Yeah, that's where I was born. But anyway, Kari. So I guess there was an Arabic name thing going on back in the day in the Bahamas.
Guys, that means, for those that don't understand, the H is silent. Okay,
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So y'all know.
Anyway, I'm neutral on McDaniel. He wasn't one of my top candidates. I was a supporter of Harbaugh, Caldwell, somebody with some experience coming in here and setting the ship right against all the turbulence that we've been going through. So I think McDaniel's got a lot to prove. The staff that he brings in is going to be critical. But I, in a small way, I'm a bit, intrigued to see what he does with the offense. I heard you guys' discussion of running the ball in this heat, and that reminds me of when we had Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams used to do most of his damage in the second half. He would pound them selectively in the first half, and then he'd break those long runs in the second half.
Yeah, I could even go further back and say Zonka,
yeah,
Morris.
That's right.
All them guys.
When you say running game, that's what I think of.
So welcome back, Innes. First of all, did you have something to say earlier on before I introduced John?
Oh, I was just like, y'all know me. I keep it to the heart. Like, I'm cool with whoever they hired. I had who I wanted, but if it wasn't him, I was gonna, I support whoever they get. You know what I'm saying? We all have somebody we like or don't like, but in the bottom line, we're gonna rock with the logo, so we can critique it. But hey, let's just see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
It can only go up.
Some of us just think it's the start, the floor point is at a lower point than others. You know what I mean?
Right. And like I said, to me, we always been at the low point, so we can only get better. It can either be the same or it can get better. Like, we've seen the worst. Like, we can't act like we haven't seen the worst. So what can get worse than that? Let's be for real. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like, it's already been bad. So I'd rather look towards it being up than saying, "Oh, we're gonna be still at the bottom." Then why root for it?
And even if it does fail, you think that that's finally going to be rock bottom? Do you think Ross is finally going to concede that that's rock bottom?
He's already there.
Given that he's still around, let's say, whatever. Let's just put that all other thing aside for a second. You know what I mean?
He's already at rock bottom. That's what people got to realize. He's at rock bottom now. For him not to get off Flores and admit that was a mistake, he's already at rock bottom.
Well, the thing of it is, I'm thinking that if you don't see at least 2 or 3 extra wins than we had this year, I think it the whole thing crashes.
I don't know if you
guys. He's gonna have
I don't know if you guys.
He's gonna have an excuse though, because the new coach.
I don't know if you guys know this, but when the allegations last week hit with Flores, Jim Harbaugh pulled himself out of the consideration for the Dolphins job. Just so y'all understand, when I said he's not coming to a situation like this, he pulled himself out of any potential coming to the Dolphins. So
yeah, John, and I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying, and that's even feeds into what I'm saying, because if that new ownership comes in, new ownership ain't like getting another GM and another head coach where we do what they say, they clean house. New ownership is like, the parking lot changes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's clean house, like everybody in the entire building.
Uproot everything.
Say for the alumni and the Dolphin magnates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
not even Rosie, who's doing the bathroom, will say she'll change her too.
You know, right. And it's kind of unfair to McDaniel to put him under that kind of pressure, but I'm sure he had to understand that coming into the job. He
took it. We all warned that was our biggest concern about him. Well, at least I can speak for myself, but I think I kind of take a good measure usually. You know what I mean? So, most people's biggest concern, not necessarily age per se, just we're talking about so much a bigger scope of a job for a head coach compared to even an offensive coordinator. Even as a first-time head coach, I was always leaning somebody like Brown because he's learning that actual position right now. Like, he's a assistant head coach. So those reservations aside, there's nothing you can do about it now. I'm kind of with you on that. You know what I mean? my like I said, my expectation starting point is a lot lower than it would have been for a different guy.
Mhm.
You know, so
But Color, can I just say something real quick? I talked to 49ers today, and a guy that clearly follows the team, X's and O's guy, said that he he's coached on defensive side of the ball, so it's not like he's just been all offense all 14 years.
well,
He said that's what they.
you know what it is. I'm not necessarily talking about X's and O's on both sides of the ball. There's just a lot of things that a head coach
I'm
deals
just
with.
saying, but
You know,
with Brown,
you're
he's
talking
only had
HR
running back type,
issues. You know what I mean? These, you
right?
know what I'm talking about. Those types of
But
things.
but
But here's the
Brown,
And
thing. But to your point, bringing in a guy like Vic Fangio, what do you think about him taking over the reins for that kind of stuff? Sort of like in the Wade Phillips model that they did in Los Angeles. Omar's
that's
reporting in the Sun Sentinel that McDaniel is seriously looking at bringing in Fangio.
Already,
he's following the tree model. That's what the people from that tree do. Vinky Vane did it.
he's
You see what I'm
already
saying?
doing. He's already doing what Flores didn't do. Already step one check mark in the right direction. Flores didn't want no coaches. He doesn't care. No ego.
All right, so I'm hoping that John Christolakis, who just who's been with us patiently waiting, and I meant to get to you, but welcome John Christolakis to the panel. You've got to be like, no, man, this guy is going to implode our football team. You know it. I know it. What are we missing here?
Who, McDaniel is going to
Yeah.
implode? Listen, I kind of I'm leaning towards Innis. I think that there's nowhere to go but up. I'm concerned more so with defensive. I just hope that he knows how to utilize the defense essentially to what they've been accustomed to, and because they have a certain taste, if there's a word for it, that they've been accustomed to, where their strengths really are exhibited throughout the game, and you saw in that 7-game losing streak when the defense was not playing up to par. I just hope that McDaniel knows that and knows how to utilize their strengths.
Well, and again, for me, I'm hoping. I mean, because Vic Fangio is one of those guys that so he failed as a head coach, but there was a reason he was hired for one. He is a good defensive coordinator. He's one of those guys that has always been around a long time, consistently putting together good defenses. So I don't expect a guy like that to necessarily take a bomb to our defense, but at the same time, I don't even think he would run a different scheme. I think he would let those veterans that Flores coached up tell him what they want him to do.
Can I give you guys a little? Let me give you guys a little tidbit. Not only that, but think of it this way: if you're Nick Fangio, and you're a defensive coordinator, you would love to coach this defense with the amount of talent, young talent on this defense.
Yeah, and it's almost on autopilot now.
Exactly. So I'm not worried about the defensive side of the football, because any great defensive coordinator, when they see, he's like EM said, he's a great defensive mind, and you give him Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones. The man
we keep Xavier Howard, right?
I would keep him. I'm not gonna now.
I mean, I'm a huge because if not for the very least, to be a player / coach, not that his skills, in my opinion, have diminished whatsoever. I'm one of those guys that when I look at him training in practice, I mean, he's got the hand skills of the best wide receivers ever to play the game. You know what I mean? So I'm not one of those, trade X guys, but I think I've seen some people say, yeah, X is get rid of him. It's his last year. What am I missing here? When I read a report a few months ago that we restructured his contract mid-season and end up standing to gain $4 million in salary cap at the start of free agency. I don't know.
at the end of the day, you have to realize one thing: as great as Xavier Howard is, I would keep him for at least 2 years and see what he does. But
But
wait, no. But I'm going to get to your point. The bottom line is, your knee can only take so many scopes, and they are afraid that because he's had knee issues, they rather get if they're going to get rid of him, they get rid of him this year. If he's not gone by when the season starts, he's going to be here for the next 2 years. Because the whole problem is his knee. They're worried about his knee. If his knee holds up, if they see that he's good, he's not going anywhere. But you don't look. At the end of the day, here's the problem.
So you think he goes out swinging like Rashad Jones?
Yes, and here's the reason why. At the end of the day, the Dolphins play a press man scheme. The Dolphins have a luxury that there's no other team in the NFL that has it, where you have 2 Pro Bowlers, literally one at each corner, which is why they can play press man, zero blitz, amoeba defense. If you put Noah Benogany where Xavier Howard is, they're going to torch him all game. They're going to score 40 points. I'm telling you right now. He doesn't have the man-to-man skills. It's not about what we've seen or what we haven't seen. He just doesn't have – he's not there.
He's just a ball hawk. That's all he is.
You're going to have to go – Noah's going to have to go through the growing pains that he should have gone through 2 years ago because he didn't play. And we're going to put our defense – and when the defense doesn't work, when we go press man, they're going to say the offensive coordinator doesn't work, and it's on him. It's not on him. Talent is talent. So if I'm Nick Fangio and they tell me, do you want to coach the Dolphins? I'm jumping all over it, but I'm keeping my corners and my safeties where it is because that's the strongest part of our team. As much as everybody likes our offensive and not our offense, as much as everybody likes our defensive line and the potential that they have in there and how much of a metahuman Raekwon Davis is, that back 4 is just insane. And they're gonna re-sign what's his name? They're gonna re-sign Nick Needham. So unless they tender him for a second-round pick and somebody signs him and we get a second-round pick for it, they're gonna sign him, and you're gonna have those back 4, and they're insane back there. You just can't throw the ball anywhere against Dolphin defense because they're gonna miss.
I don't mind.
If there's one lesson we learned from last season, it's that we need to be careful about how and who manages this defense. Listen, again, I mean, everybody's still down on Flores right now, right? But what that taught us last season is that handling this defense may be a little bit more nuanced than just lining them up and letting any defensive coordinator.
Exactly.
And I'll add to that.
Exactly.
And I'll add to that.
There's a certain taste that this defense is accustomed to, and if another coach comes in,
well, I'll
and
even
shakes
break
it up,
down.
that might shake up the whole defense.
I'll break it down even a little more because when you talk about Flores, it's not about playing time. It's about packages, and it's about you can get another package added to you if you show me in practice. So it's not about playing time. This is why we execute and we don't penalize ourselves, because when someone has 12 packages in one game, they're going to execute those 12 packages that they have. Either that or you're on the bench. So when I say that, I'm saying Fangio is now going to have to implement his way, his style, which is not package based. That means he's going to tell a starter to go out there and you're starting, as opposed to Flores saying, you got 12 packages today, kid. Execute them.
If you listen to
that's a
what
big
our
problem.
What our opponents typically said about facing our defense, it was their confusion. New England, for years operated a similar system when Flores was there, but they couldn't tell where the blitz was coming from, right? It would come from the strong safety, it might come from the cornerback position. It may come from an inside linebacker position, that zero look where everybody's standing on the line of scrimmage. As great as Fangio is, I don't know enough about his track record. Coaching
the
3-4
chat,
multidimensional.
Sorry to interrupt there, Kari, but
the
chat's saying that Fangio runs a 4-3 scheme that's mostly a lot of zone coverage, and we've seen our defense just get shredded in zone coverage every time we've run it in Miami.
That's going to be a massive problem.
Put up that comment, EM. Just put up the last comment, EM. Just there you go. There you go.
I mean, if he's a coach worth any his weight in salt, then he would just let the players be what they are.
Exactly.
Correct.
So
I mean, you guys saw how the Jaguars and Atlanta Falcons shredded our zone coverage, and
Of
those are the
course.
Jaguars and the Atlanta Falcons. So let's
Correct.
be
And
real.
look, at least for the Atlanta game, it was at home. Jacksonville was in Jacksonville, right? Well, it's just as hot and humid up there that time of the year too. So my point being is that
No, Jacksonville
what?
was in England. Jacksonville was in
Oh,
England.
right. Okay. My point being though is that if you go out throughout,
IGO runs a 3-4, by the way, not a 4-3.
right, if you guys go all throughout history with our team, the times that we've had a top 5 defense, or where there was even years where we would rival the Ravens at 1 and 2. You know what I mean? That Ray Lewis team. There were times when we were 1, they were 2, they were 1, we were 2. You know what I mean? So, that's consistently what has worked in Miami, given the climate. And I just getting all back to what I'm saying about what made our team great throughout the years was utilizing that climate. When Dan Marino, even in the passing game, if you got the passing game and you got the Dan Marino, fun. But if you've got the Bob Greasy and whoever else, or even the David Woodley, then you're talking about pound the rock, play high pressure defense, speed defense, because you're going to wear that other team out so quick that they're gassed by the third quarter.
And imagine this, Culler. Think about this: our 7-game winning streak, right? Tua kneeled down the ball in the fourth quarter every one of those games, and we ran the ball off of the clock some of those games. It was impressive.
Well, right. We all good pointing that out, because we, again, back to the offensive line, definitely needing some fixing, and certain players that'll remain nameless and whatnot, and some people need to be brought in. We were already getting it. In other words, the core group of guys we are going to keep are now starting to at least work together, because you got Duke Johnson with a couple 100-yard plus games. Granted, against not the greatest teams in the world, but you got things like being able to kind of pound it against New England a little bit. Even saw a little bit from the improvement from the quarterback. So I'm not going to litigate Tua right now. That's beside the point. Because the point is, in Miami, if you pound the ball and you have that high pressure, Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, John Offerdahl, Hugh Green, I mean, let's keep naming them. You know what I mean? Jake Scott, you got that pound in your pressure defense, in your face defense in Miami, and it works.
So they have to go out and re-sign Agba then, because Agba's.
I absolutely agree, but I saw a report towards the end of the season that they were already close to that deal. Didn't that go down?
No, he's not signed up yet.
Well, I do know that he wants to be in Miami. He made it clear in his, from the stuff I'd seen, publicly, that he prefers to be in Miami. But there again, got to keep Jalen Phillips. If we're not going after a quote unquote Deshaun Watson or anything of the such, where we have to give up a bunch of treasured pieces, then yeah, we got Jalen Phillips. We got, Agba. And it's like what we really need, maybe mid-level linebacker, and pepper in a few more. We don't even really need that much on defense, just like fine-tuning. But with the offense, yeah, okay, I'll bring a few people in. But again,
receiver. We need a receiver.
Keep the center. Keep the center. I'm not going to be having Tua have to develop continuity with a whole nother center next year. His center is at the level he's going to be at. We have to work around that, but you can't keep upsetting the apple cart there. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Not to bring this up, but I was watching highlights of Tua in Alabama, and I've noticed a considerable difference in how he slings the ball in Alabama and how he's slinging it in Miami. And I'm starting to really feel that hip injury is basically knocked him down a considerable peg in how he's delivered the ball. And I don't know if he's going to be able to even be serviceable even under McDaniel. I'm hoping that he is, because like I said, if he does well, it means wins for the Dolphins. But like I said, I know I saw that difference when he was in Alabama and what he looks like.
I told you guys he wasn't fully back from the hip, man. I've been saying that forever. Let's see what he does after the offseason.
Look at what Flores said.
Have we seen? Wait a minute, real quick. Go before you respond, Big John. Have you guys have gone through this yet? You and Christolakis or what? Because you know Christolakis has the finest name in the chat, by the way.
Gone through
everywhere
what?
he goes.
I like Mickey Harrison. I'm just saying.
Oh, I got you, but I'm talking about the Tua litigation. Like I said, I wasn't going to litigate the Tua thing. But
No. But the problem is, me and him, we don't really disagree. The problem is, I've been saying what he's saying now from the beginning. I know what it's like to come back from an injury, not to that extent, but not far from it. And I tell everybody, it's about 2 years. That's why I keep saying, and I've said before, and you've heard me say it on this panel, he shouldn't have played the first season. You know, he should not have played. He probably was good enough to go this year. But if I would have had another quarterback, if they would have had a Jimmy G, I would have had Jimmy G play. Tua needs to recover from that hit, because what people aren't understanding is Tua's ball is completely different in Alabama than it is now. What he's saying is it's not a lie. It's a fact.
Listen, I have always said Tua's a great guy, great work ethic. You can look in his eyes and see the fire he wants to win. But he has been damaged goods. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone in my debates over Tua. Personally, even since I've been on these YouTube shows with everyone. And that is, I mean, as much as you like the guy, you can't count on a guy who can't do the task physically. And we can't, as a team, can't afford to put him on the field. That's the rational argument against Tua.
That's another. Go ahead,
but
real quick, John. Go ahead and respond, John. But I wanted to make a point. Go ahead, Ennis, real quick.
Let me help Big John, because his trainer Nick Hicks was on Twitter Space today.
I
he
caught
did
that.
His phone space.
Yeah, I heard.
So he said the first year Tua shouldn't have played, and as far as his training last year before the season, he was transitioning, rehabbing to strength. He didn't get to work on throws.
Correct.
He was working with receivers, but he wasn't working on fine-tuning it because he didn't have much time, because he was doing more strengthening his body.
Yeah.
So this year, he has full focus on his skill set and what he doesn't, what he everybody's knocking him on. He knows it. Nick said it himself. I'm not.
Okay. So respond to that, John. So respond to that. Do you believe any of that?
No. I was in that Twitter space with Ennis, and I was listening to it, and he was saying that he's going to move away from the strength workouts to more finesse of his actual passing game, which is what's needed. But like I said to you guys before, I just think that he might be just too far gone, and I don't think there is any rehab. I'm telling you that those throws that he was throwing in Alabama were absolutely beautiful. He was not a first round pick. He was the number 1 pick.
Exactly.
He did not get injured. Seeing how Tua throws the ball now to what I just saw on YouTube,
he looks timid.
Scary different.
He was awesome at Alabama. He was dynamic at Alabama.
Guys, real quick, I want to shout out to Annie Talk Show. Looks like they're bringing in that's Annie Talk Show on Twitch. And it looks like they might have
rated us.
Cap's saying they rated us maybe on here on YouTube or on your Twitch channel.
So they rated the Twitch channel, man. Just want to shout out.
Okay.
And stuff
That's
that.
awesome.
We broadcast on Twitch. It's the community.
Well, that'll give me reason to go over there on my persona if they're going to bring in people over there, man.
These kids on Twitch invented the rating, dude. Now we see it on YouTube.
Y'all don't even know who I am on Twitch.
Chris covered up the guns to get back on the couch.
Yeah, dog, gotta get professional. Can't be out here showing off the goods, dog. Not without some money.
Hey, by the way, Annie's Talk Show, we really do appreciate that.
Man, we love that.
We really do. I've been on Twitch before, and I understand how that works and how important that is. That's great. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah, that's it's a giving community out here in the metaverse of technology.
The Twitterverse.
Twitterverse ain't so giving, dog. You don't be really, but they're trying, just like the dude that Mike on the mic had the other night. Guys like this are trying to bring the community, connect the chain, more content, more people, more fun, more dancing around. You know how it get.
Mm-hmm. So, Chris, what do you think about what Ennis, John, and Big John are saying about about the
The
Nick Hicks
defense.
stuff. No, about what he was saying about Tua.
We're talking about
and all
Tua's
that.
hip injury.
Do
How
you
he
believe it?
So
Do you believe it's
listen.
overcomable for Tua?
Well, first
If
of
the-
all, I believe everything's overcomable for anybody. That's just me, dog. I believe in the better part of man being able to overcome stuff as long as they can do it psychologically, you know. And you got to just be prepared for the grind, bro. Really, that's what it comes down to. You got to be prepared for the grind in every part of your force and being, dude. You know, I grind at this all night, and I grind at my other job all day. And I mean, listen, you need to do what you got to do. Will it be enough for Tua to want it? That's all I wonder. Does he want it bad enough? Because that's it. That's all it really comes down to. Because from what I could see out of college and what I know, he's got the ability, but can he deliver? Is it going to hold him back physically? Is it going to hold him back mentally? That's something we're going to have to wait and see.
And that's my question for the panel. I mean, how many games into the season do you guys need to see if Tua's progressed from last year?
I'm hoping it doesn't make it to games, and that I see something, you know, in the preseason at least, where, or at least from. Listen, it's always been the same thing for me.
Mama's buying dinner. If so, Chris, Mama's buying dinner. That's the bet I got on it.
You got that bet with Gio.
Still do. I mean,
what's the bet? Wait,
the bet is see, my mom wants to change football teams. She wants to become she wants to become like a Denver Broncos fan or something, right?
This is the problem we have in this fan base.
And
Continue, Culler.
and so she actually made a bet that Tua will be the starter on game 1 of next season. But her bet is not because she has faith in Tua or believes in him. It's because she can't stand him, and she thinks Ross and Greer are stupid enough to keep him on the team. So I told her, no, I don't even think he makes it out of training camp.
Listen,
so
if we get Jimmy
whoever
G,
wins the bet has to buy dinner.
I think Jimmy G is definitely going to be our backup quarterback this year. I said that as soon as he lost the NFC Championship game.
I don't think that's going to happen, just unless they want to give him more draft picks. But maybe you're right.
I don't know if they're going to do that.
If you bring in Jimmy G, it may be a Fitzpatrick situation all over again. Let me tell you.
The good thing about it is I don't care about that. I'm not here for Tua's feelings. We're here to win. As much as I
how
love
about this,
Tua.
Big John?
But
How about
wait. At the end of the day, if you bring in Garoppolo and Tua's here, all you're going to get is competition. May the best player play. So I don't have an issue with that.
Let me ask you this, Big John. Is it in Tua's nature, first of all, and second of all, obviously there's salary cap issues involved for what I'm suggesting, but is it in Tua's nature that if Jimmy G is brought in and he does get beat out, is he able to take a step back and stay on the team, and not only to one, keep trying to get better, but number two, if not, serve as a backup because he, maybe he doesn't even, maybe that's where he wants to be, and he just is so pressured not to admit something that.
The answer is yes. Just from the simple fact that the year Alabama won the championship and Tua came in and beat Georgia, he came in and he was a freshman. Brian Gable wanted Tua to be the starter. Jalen Hurts was a Heisman Trophy finalist. Tua was the better quarterback. Daboll knew it. They went with Hurts. Tua kept his mouth shut, didn't do anything, so all the right things helped the team. When it was Tua's time, he took over and ran with it. So I don't see Tua having an issue with that. I think
what I mean is, do you think Tua is a fair enough person to know that he did have limitations that he still wants to overcome, but knows he's not there yet enough to take a step back?
The answer to that to both of you really quick is the Baltimore Ravens game. I mean, he was injured and he was yelling at Flores that he wanted to play. He was pissed off, and I remember Omar Kelly tweeting that out right before the game. So you can't really say whether or not he has.
So Chris Galakis, you think that Tua is going to make the organization pay like all the people say he's upset with everybody and wants out of Miami?
exactly. He's going to throw a
If he
hissy
gets
fit.
beat, let's say if he gets beat out by somebody we bring in.
100%. 100%. And his dad is not going to allow that. To his
Well,
to his dad is very
I've
big.
said this privately, and maybe it's the first time I'll say it publicly. Yeah, for the clicks. By the way, like and share, everybody. Like and share. Subscribe to the Finn's Tailgate, who is kind enough to broadcast my show right now and host it, and also subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. Color commentary. So
let me answer. Put that comment back up, Chris. The last one you just threw up there. No, Q. Jalen transferred to Oklahoma because he lost his job to Tua and he wasn't going to get it back.
That's exactly right. He wasn't going to get that job back.
Just so you know,
Why do you think Jalen wears number 1?
Yeah. Okay.
That's his chip. That's his chip.
Daboll left Alabama to go to Buffalo because him and Nick Saban had differences on who they wanted to start. He wanted to start Tua as a freshman. Daboll.
Why isn't Daboll here then, bro?
I
wish that's really what I wanted. If we were gonna
ask you a question.
Well, we may have got snaked on that. We may have got snaked on that.
Can I ask you a question?
What's good?
Maybe the Dolphins really wanted McDaniel and they let him go.
Oh no, listen. When you talked earlier about Chris Greer wanting McDaniel, I knew that. Listen, they targeted him in the year we were trying to hire Flores. They targeted him as the OC. So they've had their eye on him for a while.
Who didn't want the OC to come in?
Oh no,
Flores.
you're not wrong about that.
But I'm asking you why. But I know that. But I'm asking you why. We've always said that he wanted.
Why do I think?
No. I'm telling you why. He did not want him in the building because he knew
he didn't want to get outshined.
He was going to get replaced. That's what it was. He knew he was going to get replaced. That's why every coach on his staff was a first-year rookie coach because they can't outshine him. They do what he says.
Well, I mean,
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. Hold on.
That's not true, Big John.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, guys. I can tell you this, that I do not believe that Tua
is a simp, bro.
The character assassination could.
Kyle Shanahan blocked that
yes,
interview.
It does, Car. It does. It does.
So hold on, guys. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, everybody. I don't think Tua is going to ever be as great as he could be and successful in this league until he Lonzo Balls his father.
I agree with Culler on that. And I don't mean Alonzo Ball.
And I'm not trying to disparage his father. His father cares. Obviously, he's a great man. You know what I mean? The way he raised Tua to be who he is, all of that. But at some point, it's like the movie Finding Nemo. Okay, at some point, Tua's got to be able to look at his dad and say, "Look, Dad, I got this."
That I agree with.
Sink or swim.
That's never going to happen. That is
that's what we're waiting to see, basically, Chris Pelagas. That's what we're waiting to see. Ennis, respond to what I'm saying, Ennis.
Really quick before Ennis goes, what I want to see out of the fan base is for everyone to stop calling him the kid and start calling him the man. And I think we all subconsciously already know that because that's why we call him the kid, because he's not an adult yet. I know he's like 23 years old, but at the same time, it's like there's a reason why.
I wasn't a man at 23 either, dog. I was fucking up.
Yep. So Ennis, respond to my theory, my thought there. I wasn't trying to disparage anybody. I'm just saying we saw the example of a guy like Lonzo Ball that had so many expectations put on him by even his own father, who obviously was trying. Now, in that case, you may argue, well, that guy was trying to live vicariously through his son. Well, that's what they're all doing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we saw what happened when Lonzo got traded to the Lakers and kind of just said, "Hey, Dad, I got this. This is my career."
No, he was drafted.
And we haven't really heard from his father.
Hey, I don't know if DP
and all that
made this
since
into a joke.
And Lonzo's been fairly successful in LA. How do you
that's
respond
a
to
different.
what I think about it being a similar situation there?
His daddy's a little extreme. His father's not going on TV and doing all that.
Oh, I get it. But there are reports, there are rumors coming out of the building.
But look at Eli Apple's mama. She was tripping with New Giants. That's why he left
I'm not
the
saying
Giants.
there's anything wrong with it. Look at Lamar Jackson's mama. That's his agent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I get it.
Everybody got their own circumstance. But I just wanted to help John on that point. John, it wasn't flow. Shanahan didn't even let him take the interview. He blocked it.
No, I know that. But regardless of the fact, even if he would have wanted to come in, he wouldn't have wanted him in here. I'm telling you, because of the way he is as a person. This has got nothing to do with what people are talking about on video or via Anchor or Omar Kelly. This is me knowing stuff behind the scenes of how he acts. He's an alpha male who likes to be in control of everything. There's something wrong with that. But not everybody can handle people like that. Everybody's different, just like everybody learns different. I can't.
John, what if I said
I could probably tell Capitan, hey Capitan, fuck you, bro, you're a piece of shit, and he's gonna laugh at it.
I tell somebody
else, exactly. I tell somebody else, they get offended, they go home and they cry in the corner. Everybody's different.
Well, John, and I just want to say this. What if I told you that some of that asshole that left the building, I would just like to see a little bit more of that out of my quarterback. Not to his team, but just on the field as like an asshole. That's all. Being just a big dog.
And I think you were seeing more of it during the year when he would get the ball pissed
You're
off.
not wrong. You're not wrong. I did see more.
He went off on Austin Jackson twice. He threw the ball literally at his feet. So I think
I don't deny what I've seen, but the problem I have and like I said, dude, he's a young man, so he can grow in the way I'm looking for it. Because at 23, I wasn't that guy either. You know what I'm saying? But I need to see.
You're right. He needs to take more control.
John?
Yeah, he needs to
know
take
what I'm
more
saying,
control.
John? It's just I wanted to see the eye of the tiger,
100%.
dog. Just give me the eye of the tiger, bro. Please, just show me that old Western style.
I think you're gonna see more of that. I think you're gonna see more of that with Mike McDaniel. I think you're gonna see more of that. He's a complete 180 from Brian Flores' dictatorship, and I'm not talking about Flores as a person. What I'm saying is the way that New England runs things, it's like one person does it all, and the rest, you know, who runs the show. There's ego involved. There's no ego with Mike McDaniel, bro. If you give him an idea and you explain it to him, he's not gonna say, "Oh, you're a player. You know what the fuck you're talking about." He's gonna say, "Well, you're a player. You're the one on the field. Let me see what you see. Maybe we can implement that, and that's where he succeeds, where others fail."
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, Los Dolphinaticos, we know you hate Flores, man. Bless your heart. We know you hate Flores, man.
Listen,
you got anything to say about what they're talking about right now?
You talking to me?
The approach
no, I'm talking to somebody in chat.
No, the approach you're describing there, Big John, man. To me, that sounds like the recipe for disaster in the locker room, man. When the veterans look at McDaniel, I mean, I don't know, I may be totally wrong, but it's
keep going. You're on the right path.
It's still to be seen whether McDaniel can command a locker room. And you're right. That defense was.
I'll be looking for Tua and McDaniel to have the eye of the tiger, dog.
I don't know, bro. I don't know about commanding a locker room because George Kittle seems to be a pretty scary dude, and that guy doesn't take shit from nobody. And he's been
successful.
To leave, so.
He's been successful in the system. That's the one thing that can cure everything. And McDaniel, if he's successful right away out the boot, then yeah, you know, people will fall in line behind.
And we gotta, and just so everyone understands this, we have a very tough schedule ahead of us for this next season.
Yeah, that's why. John, before you say that, I was going to ask everybody if they had an idea of what the prediction was, but that was my point. If we win 11 games, and I was talking about this with Culler before you guys all came on, if we win 11 games this season coming up, we're a Super Bowl contender. You guys haven't looked at the schedule yet. When you see the schedule we got to play. Yeah.
If we get to the Big John, if we get to the playoffs, Mike McDaniel is going to win Rookie Coach of the Year.
Hold up, boys. Hold up. Just wait a second. Okay.
Pull up the schedule.
I will in a second if you'd like, but
I know. I think Chris is about to blow a lid here, listening to all this nonsense.
Here's the thing, dog, and I'm just being real.
Rookie coach.
I've seen coaches come in here. Coaches come in here and take a good roster, which I think we all agree, at least on the defensive side of the ball, and with the pieces on offense, is a few pieces away and some good coaching away from being a good team with as far as talent goes. My point is that even we have gotten to the playoffs before. I don't want to just get to the playoffs. Not that I won't be happy if we're in the playoffs. My point is
getting my point.
No, I
See,
get
that's
your
how
point,
the carrot
John.
on the stick
No.
works.
I get
No,
your
you're
point,
not.
John.
My point is,
I've seen Adam Gase take this
No,
team
you're not.
and
No, you're
invigorate
not.
it and run
You're
right
missing.
to the
You're
playoffs
missing.
and us lose.
You're-
No, I have
you're-
seen it. Don't
No,
tell me I didn't see
listen,
it.
Linda, listen. What
Okay.
I'm saying is, getting to the playoffs this season
Mhm.
will be like going through top tier teams from top to bottom. There's no cupcakes on the schedule, bro. None. Look at the whole schedule.
I gotta be real, John.
I'm telling you right now, bro. I'm telling
The
you.
schedule looks the way it looks now. By the end of
Okay.
next year, 2 or
Guys-
3 of
guys,
those teams we
we're-
think are really good.
we're
have
not winning more than
4
6
wins,
games.
You know,
We're not
and
winning more
the
than 6
schedule
games.
changes.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Look, if we go to the playoffs, and you know, we look the part, and we're looking. I gotta look the part, dog. I gotta go with eyes on this, bro. I gotta go with what I see.
Yeah, and I got you, Chris DeLagas. You're saying that's what it would take to get Coach of the Year for a
Yes,
rookie. You
thank
just
you.
don't
I was
believe
going
it's
to
gonna happen.
address. Yes,
Oh, okay.
he's not
Right
winning
on.
Coach of the Year. No.
You're back now.
They
You,
talk.
you, you wandered over into that
No,
other universe for a second. It was worrying me.
Flores
how many
was
got
Coach
you
of
back.
the Year candidate.
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Flores was Coach of the Year a couple times, like candidate, not one, but candidate. If he would have gotten the playoffs, he would have won it too. And it's the same scenario. This is a good young team, a lot of money coming this way. I will see some stuff, and listen. Right now, the defense as is a pretty decent defense. A couple little tweaks here and there could be a great defense, especially if this offense gets it together. So I expect an offensive-minded coach to have some offensive-minded, input to take us there. I just won't buy the fool's gold until I have full conviction on the hope I know I'm being sold right now.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's right. But even if I see it, I'll still won't believe it till I
someone
know
pull
it.
up the schedule?
Till I know it.
I want to do a quick breakdown. Can someone just pull up the schedule real quick just to go through it?
Yeah, let me get it for you.
As you guys pull that up, I just want to bring this up. I haven't heard anybody mention it thus far, but another room to focus on in the off season and up in the training camp is that running backs room. That running backs room may get a complete overhaul.
I'm counting on it, bro. I didn't bring it up because I thought it was
Was it given?
foretold.
Yeah,
To me it's a given. I didn't bring it up
Yeah.
because I figured, you're bringing in McDaniel. That guy runs the ball. We did bring it up that earlier that, we want that running game pounded in your face so you can't breathe in Florida. But to me, that's a given. I didn't bring it up because to me, I thought that was,
And just, I want to make a point before you pull up the schedule. Whoever's eating the last scraps of meat, can
Yeah, it was Innis.
really-
I can hear him. He's
Innis.
tearing into it, bro.
really quickly.
Yeah, I think he just got home
Flores-
from work.
When it came to the Patriots games, I know people love to give two of the credit, but it was actually, I want to say it was actually Flores. So you guys could split those games. We're not going to be sweeping the Patriots anymore. So now we have Buffalo we have to worry about, like we always did. Now we have to worry about.
Innis was previewing his OnlyFans channel, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know.
Ennis was on Pornhub.
Late night with Ennis.
I'm not sure where that can be found, but maybe Ennis will elaborate later on before the show's out.
Come get Innis with Innis.
Hey, don't knock my night life.
No, come get
Right
Innis
on,
with
right
Innis.
on. Nobody's knocking it. We're trying to plug you. We're trying to plug you. Feel free to give the chat your where location on the web where that OnlyFans stuff can be found.
All right, here's the schedule, guys. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Hold up.
All right, so that first game is a loss.
How do you
Baltimore
figure?
Ravens. Because that's our is that our first game? 100% Baltimore Ravens?
Well, everything's to be determined. These are just the opponents.
Oh, it is in Baltimore.
The only reason
nothing is at nothing. There's no schedule. These are just the teams we'll be facing.
No, but it is showing. But Chris, it is showing where the game is being played at. So
I guess, but I've seen them move.
I'm not saying that.
Well, they may shift that around, but at this point,
if the Ravens are the first game, you can't believe that McDaniel's going to be able to take charge and capture that magic from the defense in his first game out. You would think it would take him a few games to learn the defense, to make sure the defense is primed and ready like it used to be.
That's going to be heavily dependent, on who we bring in for the DC. Absolutely.
Because as many people like to say, 2-0 won the Ravens game. Nah, bro. Xavier Howard and our defense won that Ravens game.
So then you got at Soldier Field at some point, time to be determined. What What do you think about their guy out there? Aren't they
They're
going
gonna
with
have
that?
they're gonna have a new rookie head coach and all kinds of stuff going on.
New
there.
quarterback, all that,
Yeah,
right?
they're
So then we
rearing
got
right now.
the possible Super Bowl champions.
Two has beaten him before,
AFC
but
Conference champions.
this is now with you have Jamar Chase now, so
And
that's
that defense looks pretty legit.
that's an L right there. So
And
we're
we'll probably get that one. That'll be our one primetime game this year. That'll probably be Thursday
You know
night.
what though? We'll probably win that one just because I could see that being the game we win.
In their stadium though, Chris. In their
I know,
house?
bro, but that's how the Dolphins do it. We always get one of those games where it's an opponent we should have lost to, but for whatever reason we
So then we get another Ross revenge game with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Did they let him keep his job or?
Oh
did they
yeah, he's
fire him?
there. He's staying there.
Okay, great.
So we're 2-2 right
Power
now.
to him.
By the way, shout out
Should be
to St.
4-4 by the Browns.
St. Brown. St. Brown on the receiver literally won me my fantasy football. That guy is a beast. He's gonna be a star.
Like crazy at the end.
We've also got obviously we got our divisional opponents, which went to the divisional round this year. Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots went to the wild card. We know we play both of them in both stadiums every year. New York Jets, but then we got the Cleveland Browns. I mean, this is no order by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
That's going to be at home.
No, hold
against
on.
the
Before
Cleveland
we do that,
Browns.
so we got the Ravens as a loss. Are we all in agreement with that or no?
I'll call that a 50-50.
Yeah, I'm not giving
depends
you
on it. Depends on Lamar Jackson. If he's over his stuff and rehabilitated,
It depends on that defense and the
if they don't
offensive
treat
line.
it as a fourth preseason game, that kind of stuff, you know. But they did torch us to open the year a couple of years ago, 56-10. So, yeah, I guess we can all agree that's a loss.
Well, did you guys notice something? The first 4 games are on the road, then. For next season.
No. This isn't no order. This isn't no order.
I know. But let's say this was the order. That would be 4 straight road games. I know it's not going to happen, but goddamn.
All right, so we're 0-1. We got the Bears that's a win, so that's 1-1. Bengals is a loss, so that's 1-2. Detroit
at Detroit
is a win. I'm going to count Detroit as a win, so that's 2-2. Buffalo Bills is a loss.
We'll go. Yeah, you could do the divisions now if you want.
2-3.
Jets
Patriots.
is a win.
What are we doing, Patriots? You want to split the Patriots, guys?
We'll split the Patriots.
Well, of course. We could even pop. Yeah, I wouldn't.
All right, so let's do
we'll take
3
the
and
win
3
on the
as a win.
Jets.
4 and 3.
So Bills and Jets
4 and 3.
are a wash.
I'll take the win on Cleveland too.
Then we got Cleveland at Hard Rock.
5-3.
5-3. I'd
So
take
then
the
we got
win on the
Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Scroll down a little bit, Chris.
I will.
Let's
but
see.
Pittsburgh's not going to have Big Ben. Who the hell's their quarterback?
That's at Hard Rock.
I say that's a win too.
We got the Packers that'll probably have no Aaron Rodgers
If they don't
at
have
Hard
Aaron
Rock.
Rodgers, I call that a win.
Then we got the Minnesota Vikings at Hard Rock.
I ain't scared of the Vikings in Hard Rock if it's hot.
Did they get a coach yet?
Exactly, bro. They're getting a rookie head coach because I'll call that a win right
And
there.
then we got our 4 divisional opponents we already went through.
Not discount the Vikings whatsoever. Their defense is decent, and their wide receiver core is.
Bro,
And they got Dalvin Cook. And they got Dalvin Cook.
The Vikings have been on a slide for years, and if Dalvin Cook goes down, they're done for, bro.
Remember where that slide started, Chris?
Where?
With the death of Tony Sperano.
Oh, my boy
their
is
offensive line coach.
He is 1,000,000%. Their whole offense. First of all, the defense has players, but they have no secondary that works out good. They what's his name? He picks the ball up.
Well,
Yes.
That's fine because Tua can't throw it past the secondary, so we're fine.
I got that. But
so after
I'm not scared of
Minnesota,
Minnesota.
we got the 4 division opponents again. Do we add anybody below that, Chris? That's different.
Oh yeah. Bro,
okay.
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna have.
I ain't shook on the Chargers either, and I'm definitely ain't shook on Houston. If anything, the schedule looks easy as shit.
Okay, we got to go to SoFi for the Chargers, but that's not even their stadium. So then we got to go to
San
we got
Francisco will be
Houston
the
at
revenge
home.
game for Mike McDaniel. Probably win that one too.
And then we got the Niners at Levi.
Damn,
so
bro,
what's
it's
the
an
record?
easy-
Nobody's keeping count here. The record.
No, everyone's going so fast.
Right. So let's go back. So let's go back. So we did the divisional teams both ways, right?
No, we got to go back to the top. Let's just go all together. Let's go to the top really quick. We had
Go to the
we had-
Browns.
we had
5-4 by the Browns.
Ravens are a loss, so 0-1. Next team up is the Bears. That's 1-1. Bengals
Cincinnati Bengals,
1-2 with Bengals.
Detroit Lions,
2-2. Buffalo
Buffalo
2-3.
Bills.
2-3.
That's a home game. These are all home games. New England Patriots.
We're gonna count that as a win, and then we're gonna do the loss for the next one. 3-3.
Okay, we'll get to them in a minute because they're in a different part of the
Where are
list.
we
New
at
York
number-wise?
Jets
New York Jets 4-3
at home.
At home 4-3. We're gonna sweep the Jets.
Cleveland Browns at home.
5-3. We take the W.
Pittsburgh Steelers at home.
6-3.
Green Bay Packers at home.
I really think I think Rodgers is gonna stay.
I don't think Rodgers stays. But if
I
Rodgers
don't
stays,
either.
I'll give him the win. But if Rodgers is there, we take.
Well, suppose Rodgers is not there because, well, he's still on their roster, so we have to suppose he's there.
7-3.
Okay, so Minnesota Vikings at Hard Rock.
8-3.
New England Patriots at Gillette.
9-4. I'm sorry. 8-4.
Jets
8-4.
at
8-4.
MetLife.
9-4.
Buffalo Bills in Buffalo.
9-5.
Chargers at SoFi.
9-6.
Texans at Hard Rock.
10-6.
Niners at Levi.
And then number 11 to get in.
11-6.
The revenge, well, not revenge game, but the
prove it game.
What's the next game after San Francisco?
That's it.
Oh, 11-6. No, it's an easy
That's
schedule.
what we should
Gotta be
expect.
real.
I mean, are we all in agreement that that's what we should expect?
I'm thinking. I'm looking at this schedule, and
we're just going by
Green
what
Bay.
our constructed roster now plus Tua with our new coach.
If they don't have Aaron Rodgers, now we're at 12 wins, and I ain't scared of the Vikings. I think 13. That's honestly.
See, I don't think that we split with the Patriots until they beat us. That's the one thing Tua has to worry about.
Agreed there. So now we're at 12. Now we're at 12-5.
John, who won the first game last season?
I don't care if they won by defense.
But that means our defense can do it again. So we're 12-5.
Exactly. I don't care about that. Tua has been able to beat Belichick, whether it was defense, offense, or special teams. The bottom line is he gets the ball behind center the same way Herbert does. And at the end of the day, Herbert has.
I ain't scared of the Chargers either, bro.
All I'm saying is if we win 10 games and we don't make the playoffs, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind again. Three years in the same situation.
So overachieving would be like 12-5.
Overachieving is 13 and 13 and
no.
Overachieving. I agree with you, John. I'm thinking 13 and 4.
Yeah, but
bro.
here again, there's the Aaron Rodgers question too in Green Bay.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers probably won't be there. And I don't know why everyone thinks the Vikings are so good, or the Chargers for that matter.
And they're going to lose Devontae Adams too on top. Green Bay cannot afford Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
You guys need to put into account. You need to put into account those two games that always come back to bite us in the ass. Those two games that we always are supposed to win always come back to bite us in the ass. So always put that into account.
Of course, but what we're saying though is
that would be Houston for that loss.
Well, Chris, hold on a second. What we're actually saying here is that our defense shouldn't be afraid of any of like the teams that we listed, like that we think could possibly be wins.
When I look at it from defensive perspective, I don't see a team that poses a problem
the Jags and the Falcons,
of
gentlemen.
the Bills. And
all we need is offensive production. All we need is our offense to score us 20 points.
I see as challenging.
And we're owning everybody.
Here's my question to the panel. Let's say we go 12-5. Does McDaniel win Coach of the Year?
Yes, 100%.
I'll fucking be chanting Coach of the Year. What you talking about?
I told you that. If he makes the playoffs, he wins.
No, I know you told me that, but I asked the whole panel. I know your
okay.
opinion, but there's
is there a separate
he wins
rookie
12
Coach
games,
of the Year
I'll
award
fucking
or
start
no?
The friggin'
No, there's no. I was wrong when I said
McDaniel
that. There's no
Coach of the Year
separate.
trade.
Right, but I don't think there's been any rookie in history that's done it. That's got
I don't know. It's a good question.
Hey, I know it's off topic. Pull up the Buffalo Bills schedule for a second.
You see what we're doing here, Chris Delacus? You see what we're doing here, Chris Delacus?
You're asking for a first-time head coach to win the division, win the conference, and make the playoffs, and supposedly the championship game.
But Cap, remember, we're basing this on our eye test as our team is constructed now. And
I'm just making your point.
Right?
I'm just making your point. When was a rookie coach to go to the playoffs,
that's exactly
have a winning
what I'm
season?
He's right. I'm thinking Flo right now. I wasn't even thinking McDaniel the whole time. I was thinking if Flo was still in charge of this team, that's how many wins.
Dang.
I totally didn't even understand. I for some reason I kept thinking, because I kept basing it upon our last games. I don't know how McDaniel's going to perform.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. You would imagine that anybody, if it was all if it was all the team coming together against Flo,
the Bills
then they could win without a coach. We could beat all these guys without. That just tells me that we're not afraid of any of them.
So there's the Bills'
That's right.
schedule.
I don't see the schedule
Their
yet.
home games are Green Bay, Vikings, Steelers, Browns, Titans, Jets, and then Dolphins and Patriots, obviously.
Man, I am so happy we're not playing the Titans. I
But
really
look,
am.
they play the Titans, and they also play LA and KC outside of the teams we play.
Hey, let me ask you.
They play three
Yeah,
playoff
they've got to
teams.
play the second place finisher in each
And
division
look,
that we play.
They go away for those games too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Culler, what does Vegas have on the number?
On which one are you talking about, Cap?
On us for the season with McDaniel so far. Has those numbers come out yet?
No,
not yet. Not that I've seen. No.
Culler, has your bet cleared yet, Culler?
Checked. I'm going to check now, Chris. But I did check after the local news had already run the story that
And it still
for
hasn't
real.
hit.
Hold on a sec. Let me check.
Tell
Because
Mike
it's
I'm
been
not
a few
coming up
hours.
tomorrow. No, I refuse. I obstruct.
Yeah, Mike.
We're doing this all based upon if McDaniels is actually going to be able to perform. If
You
we're gonna
know,
pick up-
also,
if we're going to
Chris,
pick up an offensive line,
even
if we're going
though
to get a decent running back. I mean, there's a lot of shit that has to play out. If Tua stays healthy, that's another factor. Like, there's a lot of shit that has to play out for us to get to 12 wins.
Coaching staff.
Listen, I'm
my
going to say
cat. I'll
something.
be right back.
I'm going to say something. Even with the team constructed as is, if the defense can play the way they played last year, forget the offensive side of the ball. I'm already acknowledging that our offense is going to be better. Even if he took the pieces we had this year, he would know how to use them better than we did. I don't see with the same.
We have no evidence yet, John. There's nothing.
Okay.
There's nothing to dictate that yet. We have nothing to base that off yet. I understand
Other than,
we're all
other than pulling for him to do it, like
I know.
supporting
I'm
him,
pulling
rah
for him.
rah. You know what I mean?
Everyone is supporting him, but we have no evidence yet. And
I'm in agreement with you, Chris DeLucas. And Big John and I have been through this before. You know what I mean? So, real quick though, it looks like the bet says that it had to become public knowledge. Well, we know if the local news is reporting it, it's public knowledge. There can't be anything they can't go back on it now. However, my bet's not cleared, so I think that they're probably just waiting for the whole Stephen Ross announcement and all that.
What's going on? What are you guys talking about?
As far as my bet clearing for Jim Harbaugh, because I had put in a bet that Jim
that
Harbaugh would be our coach.
That $25 is gone, brother.
Colors never
I made it like months ago, or like a month ago or so. So it is what it is. I'm hedged for the Super Bowl, so I'll get a little back.
I missed it, Color. Has the bet cleared?
No, but I think that they're just waiting for like the Stephen Ross announcement.
It takes time sometimes. So
yeah. What were you gonna say there, Chris DeLucas?
Who are we putting money on for the Super Bowl? Because I am leaning towards the LA.
And by the way, I'm only calling you by your last name because we got Big John in the chat too, and
You
sometimes
can call me Little John. I don't care.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool too. But sometimes I just call him John. So I
If
didn't
two
want you to
Johns
be
are in the
confused.
chat, I go back to Little John.
But yeah, we'll go Little John if you're all right with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
He's got to have a picture. You know what? That's fine. Listen.
You should make the channel. That should be your secondary channel, Little John.
Big John and Little John.
No, what he's got to do is put an avatar up of Blue.
right. Drooping one.
Yeah.
And I'm all allowed to say, yeah, okay. What?
That would be awesome.
See, that's why we like you around here, Little John, because you're self-deprecating, man. You get it,
What? Okay.
What was the question? I totally got off topic there.
Every time he comes up, I'm gonna start laughing, dude.
Oh my god, I'm only gonna hear that.
So, are we back on hope? Basically, we're back on hope and faith. Then we agree as a fan base is where we're at.
Yeah,
pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. What?
Oh, we're still going 1-10.
Chris,
What,
you guys
buddy?
wanted to know who was the first year head coach to win it? It was Nagy with the Bears. He won it in 2008, his first year.
Who did?
Matt Nagy.
Yeah, Nagy won it in 2008 when they went 12-4 with the and went to the NFC Championship.
Oh man.
Hey, Tony, come doing my job for me
I
tonight.
know,
Thanks,
not only
Tony.
that, that's a bad sign. Nagy didn't end
Y'all
well.
make it easy for me, man.
don't play. What?
Yeah.
But most of the coaches won it when they were experienced. Bill Cowher didn't win it till his
So,
both
I'm
years.
going to breach this subject since we're all at a point of, changing the subject. I'm going to breach it. I think Kellen Moore was just done the same way Flores was done. And the reason they did it was so now they can go to the courts and say, nah, it ain't just black guys that get set up like that. And they think we're stupid enough not to see through what they just did.
Color calling.
I'm just going to say it right out there since we haven't gotten too controversial tonight.
Shots fired.
We got to flame it up a little bit here,
weapon,
people.
bro.
What do you say to that, Kari? Do you have anything to say to that theory?
Hold on, man. I'm on the phone right now.
Oh, no problem.
Go
man.
ahead,
Come
John.
back when you're ready.
Give me. I think the shot was fired before they did it to Kellen Moore because if you guys know Mike McDaniel, McDaniel's is mixed. So
Right, that's what I'm saying. Well, what I'm saying, Big John, is that the Dolphins saw that as an opportunity to do a favor or to do a kind to the NFL and say, oh, well, we'll set up Kellen Moore, make him believe he's got a chance, but he never had one because we knew we had McDaniel already. And watch a text message leak out to somebody like Kellen Moore.
DP put in there
congrats.
Conspiracy.
Ross is playing chess, not checkers. Right.
But that's doing a solid for the NFL. That's doing a solid for the NFL right now, though. And here's the other thing: Houston giving Flores an interview, and they're saying that he's a finalist with neck and neck with Josh McCown. Now I'm thinking to myself, hasn't Houston just put themselves in an interesting pickle? Okay, because if they hire Josh McCown, like really, with
what I see is
after calling Flores a finalist, and then wait a minute. On the other token, if they hire Flores,
they're not.
Who in their right mind is going to give them credit now that the cat's out of the bag?
No, the Texans are hiring Lovie Smith. That's what I'm getting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, like they're expected to hire Lovie Smith.
Color, you have too
announce
much
it here in
faith
the
in
next few
Stephen
days.
Ross to believe he would do something like
Look,
that.
even Miami Best backing me up. You must have heard that too. I'm telling you, they're
Wow.
gonna hire Lovie Smith.
Good job, guys.
Someone had the best tweet, and it was, imagine Houston hires Brian Flores and we trade Tua to Houston. They have to fucking reunite again. I mean, just the thought of Tua back.
Here again, though, I'm watching too many movies, but you all are expecting me to believe that Tua can throw the ball out of the stadium.
He can. He's responsible. Don't you know
Talk about
that?
fairy tales.
Don't you know that NFL that game wins are quarterback stat now?
When he's not playing golf.
At least conspiracy theory has the word theory next to it. What is a fairy tale?
I bet you I could throw a football over them mountains.
I'm back.
Love you, AB. Just pointing that out.
Color,
come up anytime and join the discussion, man. We don't.
I got you, Chris. I got the reference.
I
Don't
know
worry.
you did. I know you did, John.
Color, you're putting too much faith in Stephen Ross to be that smart to do what he did.
I'm just saying it's kind of interesting how right at the last second they drummed up this idea that Kellen Moore had a real shot. And then not 30 minutes later, Mike McDaniel's getting hired.
I'm just still stuck on the spot where somebody said at least she's not playing golf. Whoever said that is so fucked up right now.
I'm proud they made the right decision if they thought they were saving face, but
golf was made as a rehab for his hip, guys.
I just see through it.
Sure.
It still doesn't change anything.
Wouldn't surprise me, Color. Wouldn't surprise me.
Did he have to ask his dad to play golf that day, or did he make a big boy decision?
Yo, the funniest rumor I
He had
ever
that
heard
ass.
on YouTube was about I think it was Martin talked about Tua's dad whooping him after bad games still. That thing had me crying, man. Tears. Man.
Who was saying that?
I think it was on Larry's show months ago.
Wow.
Martin said there was some rumor about what's Tua's dad's name? Walu or something like that?
You got if you ever see guys like that again, just invite them over to the Finn's tailgate or color commentary, man. We'll have fun with that, man.
Name? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, right.
No. You know, in all seriousness, if anyone gets the chance to meet Tua's dad, just ask him what possessed him to make his son, who's a right-handed person, throw lefty.
Yeah, what the hell is that about?
Color, real quick.
How the
Thank
fuck
you.
did he think
Smart
that was
move
work?
telling those guys,
I mean,
come
it's
over
working.
here, bro. We
It
want
worked
to hear
in
that.
Alabama.
That's hilarious. I can't even believe this. Who said that? Who on Larry's show? They said what?
Yeah, who was that on Larry's show that said that?
Martin. He said something about
Martin. Does he have a last name, like a last part of his handle?
That's the funniest
shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, Martin's a good guy. Martin's a good guy, but that
after
shit
the
was
freaking
crazy.
losses.
That shit had me dying, man.
Bro, that is funny as hell. I mean, it's a low blow in a bad way, but I'm sorry, that's funny.
Hey,
at least that was being
Chris.
fair. I used the Finding Nemo reference, man.
I know. I heard that
You
too. I
know?
was rolling.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
Chris.
What possesses a
Hey, have you checked out Pete's latest video?
Who's? I'm sorry. Oh no, on Pete's Takes. No, I haven't had a chance, bro. I've been all running around
Listen,
all day today.
Do yourself a favor and look up his last video real quick. When you have time, it's got Luther Campbell on it.
Oh, really?
And he talks about the state of the Dolphins' affairs.
Listen, bro. Listen. I was on with Pete the other day. I was on with Pete the other day, and I made El Capitan about to get drunk. I love Pete, but when you sit there and compare Jakeem Grant to Jalen Waddle, you need to get drug tested. Okay, there's nothing else that has to be said, bro. I love Pete, bro.
We all love
take
Pete.
Was insane.
Pete does have the craziest takes.
It was funny as hell.
I mean, they wouldn't be Pete's Takes if they weren't Pete's Takes, right?
I tell people all the time, he makes me borderline schizophrenic with some of his takes sometimes.
No, well, I mean, if you see the video, it's not Pete saying it. It's Luther Campbell was pretty much notorious around Miami for growing up a lot of NFL talent. So when he starts making comparisons of what's going on now in the NFL with just do yourself a favor and watch the video. I'm not going to say much.
So Kari, remind us again what Martin had said, what his conspiracy was.
I wasn't much of a conspiracy. It was something that he heard that since Tua was a young kid, the dad would beat him after bad performances, and that might still be happening now as Dolphins.
As he's a grown man, he has to go home to his dad and get his.
Does his dad wear a gimp mask and make him put on the lotion?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I think it was more probably done at the McDonald's after the games. You know what I mean? Like they all stop at McDonald's when they win. You know.
You just reminded me of what was that movie, Next Friday, where he goes and tells his dad, Omar Epps goes and tells his dad he got fired, and he was wearing a gimp mask and had the whip and just started beating the shit out of him when he told him he was fired.
That's what came to my head, John, when you said
Fired
that.
on a Friday.
What boy? Lost your job? Hey, I found that clip, John.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Oh, there you go.
Rico.
Rico, yeah.
That's hilarious, bro. Oh, man, that was hilarious.
Wow.
I slipped that in there a little earlier. I'm going to drop the link, Q. I see you, dog. I slipped that in there a little earlier when you guys were talking about Tua throwing it out of the stadium.
You guys have too much faith. Honestly, I want to be the rational person in this panel. You guys have too much faith in McDaniel. You guys have too much faith for him.
I have zero expectation from
Anthony.
McDaniel.
Where have you been, brother? We've been saying this now, except for Big John and a couple others, for the past hour.
Leave it, Big John, to be the sore thumb in the room.
Well,
no, you're
I
actually
have
the
less
positive
faith
one
in
here.
the
That's what we're trying to
organization.
say.
I have less faith in the organization getting it right than McDaniel, because and this is what
Didn't you say something similar to that the other day?
I did.
Didn't you say that if you hire 6 first-year coaches, eventually one's going to...
I said if you're shooting at the same 1 in a million shot target, one of these bitches got to hit, bro. I mean,
Eventually the ball's got to roll. The ball's got to fall on number 7, right?
But I worry about, I mean, look, this owner is obviously got a personal way of doing business when it comes to this team. And he's not opposed to getting personal about it sometimes. I mean, even with his firings and hirings. I just wonder that if McDaniel comes in and they start following him the way that we all expect or know or need him to, is Ross going to take exception? Does he see another alpha male? And this is what happens, guys. Don't tell me I'm wrong. These alpha males that are megalomaniacs like that, they look at something getting power and then go, and then that's why these guys get fired or get hung out to dry, because they can't have someone be better than them or
bring up
outshine
a good point, Chris, because I feel like, you know, Greer likes to be in control, and I think one of the conditions this time around was that, you know, McDaniel cannot have full control of his team.
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. I think that's an underlying thing already. That McDaniel will have handcuffs on him the day he walks in the building.
And that's a handicap for
as
any
a head
coach to the Dolphins.
As a head coach, as an organizer, runner, he will have handcuffs on him. I don't blame that on Chris Greer. If anything, I think Chris Greer has figured out a way to navigate around the owner. That's what I believe. I think it comes from the top, bro.
Correct. And I think
Toss
Greer's
Boss
more
Ross,
about,
ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag Toss Boss Ross.
That's right.
Nice job, Chris.
Do you guys think?
Capitan over here created that hashtag. Just so you all know, needs to be spread.
I understand he's trying to manage not egotistical owner, but a guy who does everything on emotion. Do you think he would actually go behind Ross's back and give the power to control control that locker room to McDaniel?
Nope. Greer is a snake, Anthony.
Yes, preach, John. Greer ain't gonna let himself get sideswiped. Greer's gonna make sure he's on the right side of everything.
He's all up in Ross's
No, if anybody's going to be brought in to take the fall as a hard ass coach, it's going to be a Vic Fangio or a Mike Zimmer. I mean,
Preach.
I really think that maybe in some weird way, and I hate to say this, but like I keep saying about the casino analogy, how we keep going in the casino and we look at everybody winning and we see what they're doing to win, but we decide to do the opposite and expect to win. And I think in some ways, maybe there is something to be said about there maybe being a second group of people that's also doing things that are winning. And so when you look at the LA Rams model, bringing a young McVay in and then bringing him in under the tutelage, basically, for as far as somebody to handle all the other bigger scope issues, you had a guy like Wade Phillips as the DC, who has heavy experience being a head coach and all that. And it seems to have worked out for them. So,
Defense, as far as players go, and I mean, listen, the scheme.
I mean, Wade Phillips is gone. McVay's handling the whole team now, no problem, like bells and whistles. I mean,
defense is plug and play. A good veteran defensive coordinator type, or even ex-head coach, obviously, they could come in here and make a lot of good things happen with the young talent, and even make the defense better in some ways, because right now that zero blitz scheme works good. There's a couple of other things. You get a real linebacker in this bad boy, a real middle linebacker, and
and a real nose tackle. Because I said this on TD's channel. When I look at Raekwon Davis, he's more of a 3 technique. He's not a natural nose tackle.
You're right. But Raekwon Davis, a lot of those nose tackles, bro, they're a little bit more anchored because they're going to be eating up. Listen, Raekwon's good and he does fine on the double team. But you need a guy that's got fucking wide ass to cover up all those lanes, getting to your
wide ass.
Yeah, you need it. That's how the linebackers can play from side to side, so they can find the
ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not just ass. That's double ass.
That's right. You gotta have it, bro.
Ass.
I mean, if you want to run a 3-4, you need wins. You need
wide
need
ass squared, baby.
That's it. Square it up, bro. You need more spot. I like Raekwon. I love Raekwon. He's one of the brightest ones up there.
Culler, earlier in the stream, I had put a comment in. Did you see what I said about Jalen Phillips?
No. Go ahead and repeat it.
What I was saying, I understand. For me, when I look at him, understand why you guys. His body type is Trace JT, but when I look at him, his playing style reminds me of Trace Armstrong. If you guys know who I'm talking about.
Not to cut
Phillips
you
is
off.
done.
Well,
He will
well,
be
the thing-
30 pounds heavier.
Did
Well,
we
the
lose?
thing about the
Go
thing
ahead.
I like
Oh,
so much
sorry.
about Phillips is that when he came in, he was it was like crickets chirping. You didn't really hear much. Where's Phillip? What happened to this guy? Where's the rookie? But I think Flores really had him on a certain program where it's like now he comes out and once he's like basically peeling right open like a blossoming flower. You know what I mean? And I think
I agree.
I think
agree.
along with that, I think he's been actually having dinner with JT. You know what I mean? As far as like getting close to him and sponging off him. I don't want to say for sure. Rumors are
Or
rumors,
maybe he's
but it's
learning
like
from.
Not to cut you guys
well, the
off.
reason I say that is because when he started to come into his own towards the latter part of the season and even midway through the season, it just was so apparent to me that he has that capability that JT had, where it's like, yeah, we might only be winning by 3, but he could literally take over a fourth quarter. He could literally stop the game from happening in the fourth quarter, where it didn't like. I mean, there's been times where, during the JT Zach Thomas era where it was like, this is unreal. We're all worried about whether our offense is going to pad our 3-point lead or not. And JT's over here ending the game on defense. You know what I mean?
Right.
John, I'm looking it up right now, bro.
You know
I
what I'm
really
gonna ask?
see that out of
Yeah, I know what you're gonna
Jalen
ask. I'm
Phillips for
looking it
some
up.
reason. Maybe I could be wrong, but
Phillips is scary good. He's got to avoid injury. And what's even scarier is he's got room to pack on even more muscle and not lose that explosion, lose that dynamism.
And when you look at it, actually no, he reminds me of Julius Peppers. That's a better.
That's a good comp. That's a good comp.
Yeah.
He's going to be very, very
Excellent
special.
call there. Yeah.
He's going to be a very special guy in the years to come.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah,
like
and,
when I seen it, I mean, even though Trevor Lawrence took us to school, I get it and all that. If it was one problem Trevor Lawrence was having that night, Clemson played us. Wait, he was with Clemson, right? No, LSU, right?
No,
Clemson. Right. That year that Clemson, he beat us with Clemson was like before Trevor Lawrence got drafted, that college year. I mean,
no, the year that they blew us out was the year before.
Anything,
we got
Chris?
after Lawrence pretty good.
I'm still looking, bro.
Yeah, no.
Either case, the only issue Trevor Lawrence was having that night was Jalen Phillips. Go rewatch that game between Clemson and Miami.
Yep.
And the only issues Trevor Lawrence is having in the pocket is Jalen Phillips the whole night.
And this is why, for me, I feel that what we're getting, honestly, I don't want to be paying. I know Agba deserves that what is it called, the money that he's going to be asking for, but I don't want to be paying a pass rusher $20 to $30 million a year.
20. I pay him 22 million easily.
See, because I see the pass rusher as the most important piece of defense. They're like the quarterback. They deserve quarterback money on the defense.
No, this is why I'm saying. I would rather go draft another young pass rusher.
No, Tony, don't say that.
No,
don't say that.
What we're saying is Jalen Phillips is generational talent. You're not going to just go draft another Jalen Phillips.
Why would you draft another pass rusher? Why wouldn't you?
Whoa. Okay. All right. Hold up. So I'm reading an article on ESPN right now.
I hope you guys have a good night, though, by the way.
Yep. By the way, real quick, Chris, how you doing, Alexander Renee Diaz? Welcome to the panel.
What up, buddy?
Love having you, man.
So it's not so much what it cost us, John. It's what the NFL has just done. So listen, the Miami Dolphins have agreed to a deal with San Francisco offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to make him the next head coach of the team, announced Sunday. Then the Dolphins gave McDaniel a 4-year contract. Source tells Adam Schefter, ESPN. Dolphins are hiring. It marks the end of nearly a month-long search. Blah, 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 blah. Hold on, where was it? Okay.
And a yakety schmackety.
Mike McDaniel, who identifies himself as a multiracial, joins the Pittsburgh Steelers Mike Tomlin, Washington Commanders Ron Rivera, and the New York Jets Robert Saleh as the league's only minority head coaches. The 49ers will receive 2 third-round draft selections.
That's fucking insane.
One in 2022 and one in 2023 per a league spokesman as compensation. Listen, as compensation under the Roony Rule for developing a minority assistant who has been hired as an NFL head coaching job. I never do this.
Well, I think isn't that why we're supposed to get something for Reggie McKenzie if we trade him?
Yes, we would.
That's part of the Roony Rule? That's new. I didn't know that. Did you know that, John?
The Roony Rule has been amended a couple times. The latest December of 2020. So this may have been one of those amendments.
That was actually
Seems like this amendment came just in the nick of time.
A year ago.
Oh, okay. It happened a year ago. So did the Patriots receive it when we hired
Tony? We're getting a little. We're getting
no, because that was before the the thing was in place by Goodell. The Patriots didn't receive nothing, so I'm just trying to figure out if it's our third-round pick or what.
Before is 2 third-round picks is what it says, which I don't know. It's just odd.
I think
I didn't know that.
If they're compensatory, I think those are just awarded by the league. I don't think they come from anybody.
It is compensatory.
Yeah, they added on to the end of the round.
Third-round picks
for developmental, not for the team that hired the minority. For the people who got him to get
correct. Correct.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's just that seems
They're awarding San Francisco for not just giving the guy a chance, but developing him into a well qualified interview. You know what I mean?
But that didn't happen when Flores got hired.
Exactly, because that was before. It was actually implemented.
That is
we may have had to trade him.
This is the first time that rule has been used, is my point.
Probably.
So, I mean, can anyone else get the correlation here that's the first time that's happened while the NFL is getting this?
It is the first time.
Leave it to the Miami Dolphins. Leave it to the freaking Miami Dolphins to allow that to happen. Not allow that to happen. Not that it's a bad thing.
But I don't think the picks come from us.
It's not that big of a deal, John.
It's 2 third rounds, Alex. That's 2 third rounders.
Listen, I like the incentive. I like the incentive program. I understand it, and that's good. I think that's good in all phases.
They have to make them third rounders, though.
Well, I don't care about the rounds.
Hold on a second, Chris. Clarify: are those picks coming from us?
Oh, I don't know.
It's compensatory.
It's compensatory. No,
right. So they're just being awarded to the 49ers. Who cares?
They're being awarded from what it sounds like.
I mean, good for the rule working, but I mean, who cares from our perspective? We're not losing the picks. I don't think.
They're not our. They're not our.
But what I'm saying is, where's the
no, they're not
incentive to hire minorities outside of.
Well, we did.
I guess that would be an incentive so people could abuse that. Maybe that's why they do that.
Chris, I think if we would have traded Flores after his contract was up.
No. You're misunderstanding me. I'm talking about when you hire a minority, there's no incentive to the hiring.
That could be why Houston doesn't want to hire Flores.
Well, because they want you to keep him in the building, and so the longer they've been there, the more compensatory picks you get. They want you.
It sounds like an excuse not to hire him, is what it sounds like.
That could be why Houston doesn't want to hire Flores.
It should be split then. Each team should get one third round compensatory pick.
That, John.
This is an incentive though for teams to hire and to
fire. Yes.
Oh, we all agree.
No. To hire and to I'm struggling for the word, but to allow minority coaches to develop in time, give them the practical experience so that they can then be more qualified quotation marks for the next job that opens up. And so it's it's an incentive to keep those teams, in play.
Listen, the NFL already has a problem, okay, with the diversity of head coaches. There needs to be more minority head coaches in the NFL.
Well, the thing about McDaniel is, hold on just a second. I want to respond to that real quick, Alexander. I think that the 49ers are being awarded not just because they hired a guy that is multiracial. They developed him. They made him to a point where when we look at him as fans, we're not questioning whether his race played into it or not, or whether he's qualified. I mean, we can argue whether he's underqualified or not, but he's definitely qualified as far as having, been acquired by the Miami Dolphins and, signed a contract. So, that I don't know. I'm not so sure if the 49ers just hire a guy as a head coach that was the same thing. The point was to fill the building, not just with filling them with black folk. It's also helping them with the tools they need, that maybe, in other words, because they've got to overcome the fact that people have been friends for so many years and they might not have been mingling in those circles all those years. You know what I mean? So
very true.
In that case, you're not just hiring offensive coordinators and running game coordinators, and in Greer's case, a general manager, and whatever else. But you're also saying to them, look, if you bring in these younger guys, these lower positions, and develop them through your franchise, and then they're able to acquire a job as a head coach because of what you built them to be. Now, hey, the Miami Dolphins proved it by signing the contract. They at least have enough faith in the guy, whether we can argue as fans about it or not. So the 49ers are now getting awarded for having done that development and enriched the pool of head coaches.
The only thing I'm saying is incentive to develop is there, and there's not the other end of incentive to hire. But I could see what you're saying, Kari. It could be something that could be abused if there was incentive to hire. You know what I'm saying?
No. I think you heard me wrong. I'm not in any ways. I don't suspect that the rule is there to be abused by any chance. I'm saying that the compensatory picks are there to reward teams for, as Culler described, enhancing the pool, allowing a minority candidate to
stand on their own, on their own, because stand on their character, and stand on their credentials, and
the problem had been in gaining access to the line that produces coaches, right? Excluded from. I think Culler explained it, but blacks have been excluded from the whole fraternity of coaches and the whole line up to ownership. And so this is a way to use like an affirmative action sort of stance and getting more blacks in the back rooms
or at least guaranteeing not just equal, at least guaranteeing equal opportunity as far as how you're hired and the purposes you're hired for. You know what I mean? Which were obviously unclear to Flores, whether it's his perception or not. You know what I mean? And it could be argued that he's right about that.
I agree with everyone. What everyone said here. Really quick, Tony, hold on. I just have no idea how the NFL could possibly implement it. I've been trying to think of ways that they could possibly do it, and I cannot think of a damn way because the Roony Rule just backfired completely on them. And I have no idea how they can come up with an idea.
John, how I look at it in some ways, no problem, Alex. The Roony Rule kind of didn't. Now that Flores spoke up to the atrocity that's happening, so you can't really. The one thing I'd hate to see happen is them amend the Roony Rule for a different type of abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
Hopefully it sticks because it did expose an atrocity.
I got a question for everybody here. How does I want to bring up Flores for a second? He was just named one of the two finalists for the head coaching job.
Yes, we discussed that a little earlier. Hold on, before you do that, Alexander.
I just got into
Alexander, hold on just a moment for me before we go. If you want to get caught up on that, just give me just a second to point out that this is what I was saying the other night about how the Roony Rule can be argued on both sides. Both sides have a point.
Well, that's
it's failing as well as it's necessary. You see what I'm saying?
True.
This is why I've already gone through and wrote down at least 5 or 6 on a brainstorm list of solutions very similar to what you guys are probably thinking and formulating in your own heads and even speaking about tonight. You know, so I'm probably going to go in depth a little deeper on that. I just, you know, it's a little hard to breach these subjects, man. It's not like people are going to be flocking to my channel to listen to me talk about, you know, opine about solutions, real solutions to the Rooney Rule and how to make it work.
How does it work?
You know,
do they have to go out and find a minority candidate?
well, I can give you a couple. I can give you a couple preview ideas. I mean, I didn't want to necessarily deep dive it tonight, but I can give you a couple of my own preview
So
ideas.
really quick, Culler, before you jump in,
Chris,
that's my
can I say
question.
something?
What if no minority candidate comes forward to interview? What happens to the owner?
You can't hire.
Well, real quick, just to give you a quick preview,
There's a
I
penalty
don't want to
that's
go.
paid if you can't get two. There's a penalty that's paid,
there's a
a monetary penalty that the team pays to the league, I think.
So here's the thing. There's a couple different things, and it has to do with maybe contracts. You know, like, you know, I mean, guaranteed contracts even. So it forces an owner to say, well, if we want to scapegoat you, that means you can get that signal by the fact we only signed you for 2 years. You know what I mean? There could be issues. I mean, that's stuff that could be worked out. Like I said, I was brainstorming, but here's the thing. Here, the main crux of it. How about a 7? Hold on a second, Alexander. Just to put a number on it, and I pulled this out of my head to be fair, you know, to everybody involved. A 7 to 10 ratio. I'm just reading my writing.
I disagree, EM.
Hold on. No, if there's a 7 to 10 ratio in the league of black coaches to head coaches, I'm not saying force that. I'm saying if there is a 7 to 10 ratio, then a team can have a special dispensation to hire a non-minority coach.
You're saying
if it falls below that ratio, then all they can interview is minority candidates. Now, these are, like I said, these are just brainstormed ideas, but it proves that there are ways to fix the issue if we just think of solutions. It doesn't have to be thrown away or embraced as it is now permanently.
Chris, could I say something, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Kari, but what I was gonna ask you is, wait, actually, I thought didn't the 49ers also get two more compensatory picks for the GM, their assistant GM that got hired?
Yeah, I have no idea. I honestly, I haven't.
No, that's what I'm wondering. Didn't they earn another? Don't they have 3 compensatory picks right now?
I know they got the 2 third rounders.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I thought they have, because their assistant, their head scout got hired as the GM for the Bears and stuff like that.
Not yet. We haven't. I don't. You talking about Reggie McKenzie?
No, not McKenzie.
No, for the 49ers. 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He just got hired.
The Bears hired the assistant GM from the 49ers.
Hey Tony, when you're done, could you mute, just because we're hearing some kind of
it might be me, and I'm about to jump off. And just to clarify what I said earlier, I thought we were
on my
losing.
balcony, and there's a lake right behind me. So.
I thought we were losing our 3rd round draft picks to the San Francisco.
Oh no,
not at all.
And also, just to clarify, just that one idea, like, you know, even Kari P, I'd like your input on this. When I say that now, saying us like a 7 to 10 ratio would have the effect of immediately out the gate to do the affirmative action part. But as what'll happen is, as everything starts to even out and it falls back to 50%, well, nobody has to worry about a dispensation for hiring a white coach.
Exactly, John. I agree.
Because it evens itself out over time, which is what we really want to be at.
And
I understand at first it has to be overcome. Right. You know what I mean? But at the same time, at some point, if that's adhered to, then you're going to end up having a leveling out where it's an even playing field and nobody has to ask for dispensations. because
that's
the
always
ratio
been
is below 7 to 10. You know what I mean?
Listen,
that's
John,
always
John,
been the underlying assumption of affirmative action programs is that they wouldn't be permanent, that these would be temporary and would have a certain shelf life.
Actually, have a
No,
better
no,
idea.
no, no. I'm not
John-
talking about ending it. I'm talking about letting it level itself out.
No, absolutely, and there would be no need for it if the previous inequality had not existed. So
Well,
yeah,
that's why I'm trying to say if you ramp it up right off the bat at let's say a 7 to 10 ratio,
yeah,
the only thing we'd still have to combat is the idea that they could still hire a coach for nefarious purposes and scapegoat him. You know what I mean?
I just want to bring up something. I'm going to bounce off because I have work in the morning. But John in the chat brings up a good point with his comment. Denver is selling the team. The New Orleans Saints is selling the team or passing the team down to the city. I think those two teams should just pick up a minority owner and just start off the right way.
That would make too much sense, except that we're in an overall political climate of reverse racism.
I agree, but it's got to happen. It's got to happen just to heal some of the wounds that have opened up.
This is where I have an idea that I want your opinion on, Kari, and Culler. What I was thinking of, the problem is we don't have a lot of high school coaches even that are minorities.
Have a good night, everybody, by the way.
Hey, good
You
night,
too,
John.
John. Thanks for
Good
coming.
night, John. You too, John.
Hey, Tony, I'll answer to that, but we're also going to get final. We're going to probably wrap it up here in a minute and get everybody's final thought on anything tonight we've talked about. Mike McDaniel, the current topic at hand. In the meantime, hold on, Ray Alexander. Make sure everybody likes and shares both this video and also subscribe to the Fins Tailgate. They do such a great job. You can find Tonk 7 with TMI Tuesdays at 9 p.m. And you can also catch Mike the Mic with the open mic on Tuesdays and Drop the Mic on Saturday. So if you want to get your own voice in and get on the panel sort of in this sort of format, Mike will be hosting a show like that. And you can also catch Brandon the Bookie and Big Kev and Oz with Cash and Tickets. They'll help you through anything you need to know about the betting world, and they're on at Thursdays at 10. And you can always catch me too. I'm going to start following them up on a regular basis after Cash and Tickets on Thursday night. So appreciate everybody being here. Alexander, I wanted to answer your point. I'm sorry, Tony. I wanted to answer your point real quick, which was wait a minute here. Hold on. Every single coach at my high school that coached me was black. Just so you're aware. I just wanted to point that out.
No. But what I'm saying in general, when you see the elite programs like the private schools, like a IMG Academy or like a modern.
Well, those can't be regulated because they're private schools, Tony. If you're talking about public schools, it usually ends up falling, at least in South Florida, in my experience, it usually falls under the demographic of the local school district that school serves. So in other words, if you're in let's say a district that has more white people than black, it's probably going to reflect a little bit of that same ratio as in the coaching staff of the local high school. And that's what I've seen most of my life.
I want to point out something. I lived in Miami originally, and my school was my area was half and half, but yet they chose the white coach to coach a school that was half split.
What was his name? I'm sorry, I can't ask his name. Don't even do that. What I more ask is, there could be many dynamics involved in that, is what I'm saying, especially in the Miami-Dade area, where somebody may have a heritage that their skin doesn't necessarily reflect that easily. So we'll just put that aside for a second. I'm just giving my own experience that virtually all of my coaches in the Palm Beach County area were of color. So maybe it was just my school. I don't know.
Ask you, Kari, how about this idea? How about the NFL go even further with this and have a system starting from high school to develop more experienced minority coaches and have them go through the college?
Tony, you're getting bogged down, brother.
Yeah.
The NFL can't force high schools to do shit, bro.
Yeah, you got to
They can. We're in real fucking
not force
trouble
them,
around
but
here.
help. help this issue
Help,
that they're having.
I mean,
But
Yes.
it's-
you already have people like Deion Sanders making a difference in those areas.
Ian,
Right, and then-
the Cliff Kingsbury fire. I looked. I could find rumor papers, but I haven't found
And
anything.
he hasn't
as
been
well
fired.
as
He hasn't
well
been
as
No
well as one
way.
other thing,
No
Tony,
way
is
he didn't
that
get fired.
I don't think he
Hold-
got fired.
hold on. I want to say one more thing before we close it down for final thoughts. Okay, there's also the funding for HBCUs too. So, that's people are working towards that also. And I'm not saying it's where it needs to be. I'm just saying that
That's what I'm saying.
we're seeing an upward trajectory in that arena. So I didn't want to get bogged down onto that. I just wanted to say that all of these issues, you're more than welcome to come back. I'm probably going to try to maybe do something if you want to, if everybody wants to talk about that further, I'll make a whole show out of it. We can talk about real solutions to Rooney Rule and various other issues like this in the NFL. In the meantime, I want to get Alexander's last thoughts real quick on anything tonight. Try to make it quick because we're running a little behind tonight. Did we lose him? You still there, Alexander? All right, I'll move on to Tony. How about you, Tony?
My final thought is my prediction is that he might, Mike McDaniel might bring over this kid, Thomas Brown from the Rams, steal Thomas Brown from the Rams as our OC.
Why would he do that? He's training for the head coach position. This was my point I've been making the whole time.
Oh, actually, no, my mistake. Maybe bring in a innovative OC from college, like a young guy from college or something like that, because that's the NFL is moving towards college. The college offenses mainly. Do you guys agree?
I don't. They've been saying that for 20 years. I don't agree at all. I think the RPO has been obsoleted by NFL defenses, and what it takes to run an RPO successfully takes a certain character of quarterback and certain measurements of a quarterback and the team around him to make that work.
So you think Trevor Lawrence is a perfect fit for the RPO offense Doug Peterson is going to be running?
Well, we'll see. He's big and strong enough to run it and tall enough.
Have a good day. Have a good night, guys.
Appreciate it, Tony.
Hey,
how about you,
Tony.
Alexander? You got a final thought?
I just want to say, I love the hiring, McDaniel. I think this is a slam dunk hiring, and hopefully get this team turned around because we desperately need it, man. We desperately need to get out of this mediocrity and this dysfunction. We're due for it. Hopefully the gods rain upon us and say, hey, you know what? The Miami Dolphins deserve to be good now. Let's go ahead and make them good. So,
well, I appreciate that. I hope you have faith and hope for all of us, for the ones of us that don't, man. We really appreciate you, buddy, and appreciate you coming out tonight.
No problem, man. I just got back. I was at the Imagine Dragon concert, so
right on.
My fiance and my fiance and my daughter, and it was. I'm just tired from that.
Well, there you go, man. Well, I hope loving that. You have a good night, Alexander. And how about you, Kari P? Anything you want to talk about? Even you want to go back to the coaching, whatever, just give us a final thought, man.
Just to respond to Tony, I think that, this, like you said, there's many different elements in the equation and potential solutions and so forth. And one of those is like already existent change over time. I think if you go 20 years back, there was more of an issue of black coaches at the high school level not getting jobs. But I think that issue has washed away. And what we have here is the higher you go up, the more exclusionary the industry has been towards African Americans. Now, once you reach the pro level, we have a distinct problem where the league is 70% African American players, but at varying times, 90% white at the upper management, coaching, and upwards. So, therein lies the focal point of any current solution. But to Tony's point about seeding high school programs and all that, At the high school level here in South Florida, I don't know what the numbers are, but I mean, they're black coaches everywhere, you know.
Well, and I was hoping I wasn't just speaking in a vacuum, because I mean, I can run down a list of names, you know, and I even know. Matter of fact, one of them I know, one of our defensive backs actually coaches in various leagues, high school and little league down here. So he even graduated to that level, having just been a football player on our team. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, and they're working wonders in that regard. You know, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't coming off from some weird place that's not normal. You know what I mean?
No, like my coaches. I played in the early '90s, right? And then my coaches might have stories when it comes to that, of being excluded from moving up. You know, and today though, you'll find that there's much less opposition to guys from the high school level going up to certain college programs. But then there's like a glass ceiling from college into the pros. Like you rarely see a successful black college coach go up to the pros except as a position coach or some minor coach. So there's still work to be done at that specific level in this dynamic. And hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my perception at this stage. And then the final thing I would say is, Yim Dolphin fan said in the chat, he said the true crime is the fact that the NFL has to implement these policies to give individuals a perceived and, in quotation marks, chance. I just want to say I disagree with that a bit. And maybe I'm reading your quote wrong, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think that's the true crime. I think the true crime has been the years of exclusion leading up to this point. And I think we got to always remember that the Roony Rule was put in 2002 for a reason. And we gotta deal with that reason. And it had to do with all the years prior of almost total exclusion from head coaching positions on up. And that point has to be made. I know there's a lot of frustration with the effectiveness of the rule today, of how it's become a nuisance, how people exploit it, how the black coaches are complaining. Marvin Lewis complained about it when they made the amendment to it a few years ago. But without the Roony Rule, then what? So
exactly. So that's why I'm convinced that the place we attack right now is solutions, because I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think I think it's necessary, but I also agree with the other point of view that it's doing absolutely nothing and making things worse. So that being said, that calls for solutions. And that's the only thing I don't hear in the media on every side of every fence is solutions. People calling for, like, what I laid out tonight, that's totally could be way off base, but the discussion's got to start about solutions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
everybody love everybody.
The only thing I say about the solutions, though, is that the solutions haven't been in question. If you look at the statistics, post-civil rights, affirmative action programs work. The problem, though, becomes the politics of implementing the program, and then after
that's what I mean. We're still coming down to a problem. Like you mentioned the word problem just now.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Problems require solutions, not argument about them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We can debate solutions, but to argue that there ain't a problem, which is I think what continues to happen all the way up the chain, like you're talking, like every time we identify a problem and we find a solution, another one arises further up the chain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's
and
a
it's
denial.
like, I mean, look, and I really appreciate your voice on the matter. I really do, because I'm old and wise, getting wiser, but I still got a lot of wising up to do. You know what I mean? So
we all do, man. I'm 47.
However, I did grow up in an era where we were taught fundamentally different than my own parents. You know what I mean? So but I still need help. You understand what I'm saying? And I do appreciate you speaking up. Also speaking up for me and supporting the things I'm saying, because you and I also won't always disagree on everything.
That's right.
And with that, I'll wish you a great night.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And hit me up wherever you need to hit me up. You can find my links. I think you already have by now.
Yeah, I
You
got
know,
'em, I
so
got 'em.
just you can, you DM me whatever you want. If you want, you want to talk solutions. You know what I mean? So
We'll do, man. All right, Color. Good night, everyone.
all right. And that being said, to close out the show, I mean, look, it's a simple matter of the NFL is not the U.S. government. This is not politics. This is a place where the NFL has the ability to make these changes and do these things. They should. It's morally correct. It doesn't matter whether I appreciate what EM said, and he's still making the same point, but I appreciate what he said, but it's more about, yes, it's criminal, but that's almost figuratively. Yes, it should be criminal, and it is criminal. But without there being a remedy for everything, this is where the private sector does have to step in and regulate itself, and it requires people like us to call on it to do that. You know what I mean? And so the NFL is not going to get away with it. They need to fix their problem, and they have the power to fix it. And as long as we pump our money into it, we should have a voice in how they fix that. So this is a case where, we can argue about whether affirmative action works and all that stuff in the annals of political history and the function of our government and public sector things, but we don't have to argue it in the private sector. The NFL reaches a lot of people, makes a lot of money off of a lot of people that have different viewpoints politically. And so if they're going to do that, they have the moral obligation to change themselves. And that's what we as fans, paying fans, need to hold them accountable for. I want to give one shout out, or a real quick list of shout outs. Miami Sports Fanatics, you guys are absolutely awesome for bringing me wherever, letting me come on, giving me a platform to speak. I also want to thank Stephen D over at the Miami Sports Music, who runs his show every morning for us all to enjoy, also giving me a platform. And I also want to thank TD 100%. Special things coming, my brother. That's how it is, and you're the man. And I also want to obviously thank Finn's Tailgate, Chris Adams, El Capitan, who's more than welcome to come in and close us off if he likes.
I think you got it, brother.
Alrighty. And if I'm sure I missed somebody because I've been frequenting it a lot of people lately, but I needed to get those shout outs. Mike on the mic especially. He's a great human being as well. And you guys hit me up, like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of me. Because I don't run much of myself yet, but it's coming on my own channel. The more you subscribe there, the more it compels me to pump content out on that channel too, which you can see by this logo up in the top corner. This has been color commentary on the Finns Talk late night color commentary, and I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you.